Hey everyone, we'll be starting shortly, getting everything set up before we begin. All right, that's all saved, so get that. Showing up on there, everything seems to be fine. Actually shows connection bars, which is nice. I think we're good, so let us begin. Hi everyone, welcome to another stream of the Wright Trilogy. We had left off last time after investigating the temple more and more of the mountain. We ended up finding out some truths that were not known to us before. Iris is actually the twin sister to Dahlia. Yeah, might have been a bit obvious, seeing as they look exactly the same, the only difference being that one has brown hair and one has red hair. We also ended up finding out that she actually did help. That she did help her sister steal the diamond because, you know, she felt that she had to. She's also the sister to Pearl, so and we found out what Pearl's task was the day of the murder. Apparently she was tasked by her mother to channel Dahlia because Dahlia has been executed for murder. I think, what was it? I think they said that she died like a month before the events of this case. A month or two, something like that. And yeah, I think, you know, no, she did. She literally said that she helped plan the whole thing out. But yes, hello, Raphotron. Took a while to find the video. I mean, the stream's just started, so unless you mean something else. But yeah, there was that, and then yeah, she was tasked by her mother to channel Dahlia. She wasn't able to, and it makes her think that she lost her powers. She probably hasn't, because someone probably already was channeling Dahlia. And now we are in the middle of the trial, questioning Iris herself about what was going on and why she's making up lies that we already know the truth to, because she told us. And just general weirdness going on in court. At least we got the normal guy back, so woo! Other than that, I think that's everything. So, without further ado, let us switch over to the game screen and begin today's stream. I don't know how much is left, to be honest. I think we still got a bit, but we might actually finish the game today, so just be prepared for that. Also, please do let me know if there's been any changes to the audio. I have just updated OBS yesterday, and it does look slightly different. Like, I'm seeing things like the connection bar and different parts of the frame that wasn't noticeable before. So if there's anything we change with the audio, do let me know, and I'll see if I can change it back. Sounds to be picked up on there. Fresh here. Yep, that seems fine. All right, continue. All right, I believe we heard her, not a confession, but her testimony, and we're about to just press on it. Let's do it. So you waited until everything was over before making a move? No, it's not like that.
Objection!
She saw someone murdered right in front of her eyes. It's not surprising she was a little timid. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Sometimes when I'm watching lawyers argue back and forth with each other, I feel so helpless that I just sit quietly and wait for them to reach a conclusion. Isn't it your job as a judge to mediate the argument? It wasn't until Mystic Maya saw me that it finally dawned on her what she had done. So then, you knew? You knew the significance of the name Maya Fey? Why am I calling Maya? Yes, of course I did. That's odd. I mean, Sister Bikini didn't recognize Maya's name, let alone her position. Anyway, she was a very special person indeed. So, move the body. Why did you do that? Because I didn't want Mystic Maya to be suspected in any way. I thought the best thing would be to remove the body from the crime scene. You moved her body all by yourself? Yes, I did. It would have been impossible if it wasn't for the snow. The snow, huh? I dragged it behind me all the way across the dusky bridge. It's pretty amazing you could make it all the way across. That's a rickety old bridge. It looks worse than it is. It's surprisingly sturdy despite its age. It's like they say, idiots are too stupid to catch even a simple cold. But there's one other thing that bothers me. Why not just throw the body into the Eagle River? It would have been much easier than dragging it all the way to Hazakura Temple. I thought that it would still cast too much suspicion on Mystic Maya. That's why I tried to take the body as far away as possible. Huh. Makes perfect sense to me. For the time being. Anyway, what did you do after you crossed the bridge? The snowmobile? I knew that would come up sooner or later. Yes, I had the key. I used the snowmobile to travel from Hazakura Temple to Dusky Bridge. This is the part that was in question the other day. Should I ask for more details about the snowmobile? Let me hear more about the snowmobile ride. Well, it was very cold that night, so I rode it all the way to the foot of the bridge. Objection! I'm sorry, witness. But now, I have a problem with your testimony. Excuse me? Doe, what are you up to now? That night, after there had none left the remainder of the train to you, she said she walked to the inner temple back to Hazakura Temple. Yes, I'm fairly certain that's what the record indicates. Let's recall her comments on the subject. Maybe, but when I made back to the Hazakura Temple, it was there by the main gate, the snowmobile, I mean. The snowmobile was in front of the main gate. This is one of those contradictions, would you say? Even Godot's coming in on this. Order. Mr. Godot, why are you pointing out contradictions in the witness testimony? Because that's his job? Let's just say I like to be neat and tidy, okay? Well, maybe Sister Bikini missed it? Yes, maybe she didn't see it. You think she missed it? That doesn't sound right. Huh. Whatever. Even I don't think this is decisive enough to warrant any more time or effort. It's just, you better be careful in your testimony. That's all I wanted to say. A smart little cookie like you shouldn't have any trouble understanding that. Yes, sir. What was that all about? Why would Godot want to give me a hint? Very well then, let's continue with the testimony. So you transported the body by snowmobile all the way to Hazakura Temple Courtyard. Yes, I thought that way Mystic Maya would never be suspected. But that's what I thought anyway. And then I... Is that what you were doing when Sister Bikini saw you? Yes, that's right. She probably thought the worst. Probably, more like definitely. I see. So Sister Bikini mistakenly thought you were the one that murdered Mr. Nim. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. It's my fault that this case has gotten so confusing. I don't want to believe it, but I don't think my logic is failing me. Iris is trying to pin the murder on Maya. But why would she want to do that? There's only one reason I could think of. You're not Iris, or she's not Maya, or I'm not Phoenix. It's all a lie. Wait. I just remembered, what about the fall? Because this at no point mentions a fall. Unless she went into the building and then pushed her from like her room. But I'm probably too far ahead. Yeah, if she was carrying a body from there, wouldn't it be showing like drag marks from the snowmobile to the thing? I must save first. Nope. Objection denied. Try pressing on the other thing. If you really did move her body by snowmobile, then there should be tracks left in the snow, right? Well, yes, naturally you would expect tracks. This picture was presented at yesterday's trial. Are these the tracks from that ride? Yes, I think they are. But I can only see one set of tracks here. I don't see what's so strange about that. Snow was falling when I left Razakura Temple. I see. Snow was still falling, huh? And then when the murder took place, it had already stopped. That's why there are such fresh-looking tracks. How about it, Mr. Wright? What do you think about our testimony? Very important. When the murder took place, the snow had already stopped? That doesn't make sense if you stack it up against the other evidence. Your Honor, I'd like the statement Iris just made added to the testimony. But does it have something to do with the case? All will be made clear if you allow me her statement to be added to the record. Huh. This should be fun. You. Let's get this snow business cleared up, shall we? Yes, sir. The snow had already stopped. Which did make sense because the previous trial, literally the other day, it was like, well, snow would have covered the body. Oh, wait, I went too far. Snow report's here. Snow passed between... around 30 minutes passed between the fire starting and going out. It lasted from 7 till 10:50. And the body died... 10 to 11. I'm gonna do this. No. I might be in the wrong track on that. Murder took place, snow would have stopped. Okay, it's not that either. I am thinking. Oh, I need to press that. We'll just load. Ba-ba, ba-ba. Save. By the time the murder took place, it didn't though. Okay, maybe it did. Oops. Okay, so I'm thinking when the murder took place, the snow stopped falling, which wouldn't make sense because the tracks from the snowmobile ride would still be there. And the thing didn't stop until like 10:50. Am I supposed to press on this? Yeah, I think I'm supposed to press on it. There have been a lot of contradictions in your testimony so far. This time, are you sure it's all true? Yes, I am. When the murder happened, the snow had already stopped. According to you, that's why the snowmobile tracks were so clear. That's right. I'm certain of it. I think I've trapped her this time. I see how you think. Snow, huh? What is going on here? If the snow really had stopped by the time of the murder, it'd mean that a bigger hole in a story than the movie that Grid Revelations. Movie The Grid Revelation. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. The Matrix? The Matrix Revolutions? That is the second one, isn't it? There's a bigger hole in a story than the movie. Biggest hole. Ah, well then, Mr. Trite. Perhaps you'd like to share your theory with us. Let's see what's up your sleeve, or rather at the end of your index finger. I don't want to believe it, but I don't think my logic is failing me. Iris to try and pin the minor around. So there's something here that I need to do, but what? I'd already shown this. I've already presented that, it didn't work. Already presented this, it didn't work. I'm not sure what to present here. Maybe this? No. I just got to present everything until I get the right one, because I'm not sure. Presented this, this, this and this, this and this and this. Presented not this or this. Shown that. I'm not sure. What do I do? Because I've shown everything that I think is relevant, but nothing is working. The time to merge. Hey, Swordmaster, welcome. Is this the wrong place? Because I've presented as much as I can here. I presented the snow evidence, which shows that this wasn't Drew. I guess maybe this? What? What? Why there? Literally, the other one was more obvious than this one. You claim that the snow had already stopped when the murder occurred. But I'm sorry, Iris, that just isn't possible. What? This is the weather data from the night of the murder. According to this, the snow didn't stop until 10:50 p.m. But you couldn't have crossed the bridge, Dusky Bridge at that time. Why do you say that? Because 5 minutes before the snow stopped, Dusky Bridge was struck by lightning and had caught on fire. What did you just say? I don't know why I'm doing a different weird voice at this moment. The bridge, it was on fire? You don't mean to say you didn't know about it? It was because of the lightning strike that the bridge burned down. What? But it can't be. It can't be. It looks like you still haven't figured it out. No matter how hard you try to deceive or conceal the truth, you can't pull the wool over the eyes of a real defense attorney. No! Order. The bridge was already on fire when the incident took place. That's right, the inner temple was already totally cut off from the outside world. There's no way you could have crossed the bridge, body or no body. Witness, even my patience has its limits. Any further lying and I will find you in contempt of court. Do you have anything to say for yourself?
Objection!
The only person here that is truly contemptible is you. Old man. Me? How dare you? Or how dare you? Whether the witness lied or not doesn't mean squat right now. Squat? The important thing now is to find out the truth. Isn't that right? Yes, of course, but whether it was snowing or not snowing, or whether the bridge was burning or not, there are two facts that cannot be disputed. First, the body of Elise Nim was discovered inside the Hazakura Temple courtyard. That was a long sentence. Second, the head nun, Sister Bikini, witnessed Iris desecrating Elise Nim's body. He makes a good point on both accounts, I guess. That's right, I'm not lying. I carried her past a burning bridge. What are you claiming at this time? I wasn't myself at all that night, so my memory is still somewhat hazy. You have stood at that witness stand and testified this entire time. Are you telling us now that your memory of that night is hazy?
Objection!
It's only human to err. If you're so perfect, Trite, maybe you can explain this to the court. What is it? When the murder happened, the bridge had already burnt down. But somehow the body traveled across the bridge and was found in the temple courtyard. Perhaps you have some kind of perfect explanation for this little magic trick. Well, not exactly, no. I know there must have been some other way she got across the burnout bridge, but unless I can somehow demonstrate it, we'll never know the truth. Looks like the defense is not ready or prepared to offer a suitable explanation. You see what that means? In other words, you're in no position to suggest that this lady's testimony isn't the truth. I just proved that she can't have carried the bridge. How can you say you can't prove anything because you can't provide proof? What? I literally just showed you the weather report. I saw the bridge burn down with my own eyes. What the fuck are you on about? Been more than 10 minutes. I can swear now. About what, Your Honor? Oh, whoops, I skipped a part. Oh, whatever. You've admitted that you've moved the victim's body. Nevertheless, your prior testimony contained a rather large inconsistency. Please add an explanation for that in your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. Will this be her final testimony? Other than walking over the bridge, there was no way to move the body. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess. Was the snow still falling or had it stopped? Does it really matter that much? Or are you saying that there is a way to cross the burning bridge? So it was just a misunderstanding, I see. This is a photo of the dusky bridge after it burned down from the lightning blast. It was taken on the morning after the incident. I'm going round Godot. Certainly was burnt to a crisp, and one of the suspension wires has even snapped. It's amazing the whole bridge didn't fall. Clearly, it would have been impossible to carry a corpse across a bridge in this condition. Unless I do something to discredit this testimony, it's going to be deemed as the truth. And Maya will be accused of murder. Or actually, no, she'll be accused of self-defense or manslaughter. Trite. I'm only going to say this one more time. It is only human to err. And only humans can spot the errors of our ways. The more sense he makes, the less sense he makes. All right, Mr. Wright, please begin your final cross-examination, and then you're fired. Yes, but if the snow had already stopped when the incident took place, I couldn't have crossed the bridge, naturally. But I think it's just like Mr. Godot said. The body did make it across somehow. You can't just say somehow when you're the one that took it. You have to know. How can you be confused about how you took the body? But you seem to be quite sure of yourself when you gave your testimony. You said you were sure the snow had stopped already. I'm terribly sorry. I was wrong. That's it? Does she really think an apology is going to get her off the hook? This is no joke. You're giving the sworn testimony in the court of law. Well, Mr. Wright, let me ask you a question. Do you remember what the weather was like 1 week ago today? Huh? Well, actually, it was, You see, it's not that easy to remember, is it? It is, actually. Like yesterday, it was cold. Maybe there was some slight rain. But if it had been some kind of special day, I would have remembered. For example, it was pouring rain on the day of my elementary school graduation.
Objection!
No one wants to hear about your childhood traumas, Trite. What? It's not trauma. It's just rain. By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. If you insist on obsessing over that one statement, let's see the proof. Show some evidence that the body somehow crossed the bridge while it was on fire. Well, I don't see why there couldn't be a way to cross. Mr. Wright, don't you think that sounds a bit silly? A dead body crossing a burning bridge? Did anyone actually witness such a thing? Huh. If there was, I don't think you'd call someone like that a witness. After all, a dream isn't the same as actually seeing something. From all this way, so I owe it to everyone to figure this out. But how do you transport a body across a burning bridge? Even if I don't know the exact answer yet, it's okay. I'll start by examining all my evidence and see where that takes me. It's got to be like a shark. If I don't keep moving, I'm good as dead. Well, I already kind of have a figure of what I'm going to have to show. Because everyone is discounting it, so I'm the only one that's not. A dead body flying over a burning bridge. I wouldn't exactly rule out the possibility. What? Huh. You're saying it's possible? Don't make me laugh. The only thing that's possible at your claim is that you pulled out of thin air. I don't know about that. In any case, we have a witness who did see it happen. What's this? Who is it? Who is this witness? I can't chicken out here. I've got to keep in the attack and go, 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 go. Miss Alisto Nim's brilliant and highly gifted apprentice, Alisto Nim. Okay, it's a bit too much, but sure. Brilliant, highly gifted apprentice. Remember what he said in his testimony? That night he was at the mountain check Heavenly Hall. And that's when he witnessed the event. I think you've all seen this sketch before. It's an exact drawing of what he witnessed that night. Are you serious? Today's not April Fool's Day, is it? No, because it's November. Or in this game, it's February or something. Mr. Wright, are you seriously claiming that the victim flew through the air? And you're using this pathetic scribble to support your argument? Pathetic? It is a very... You draw something, Judge. How about you draw something? But you can't draw a straight line, can you? You and your shaky old man hands. Uh-oh. The judge looks like he's about to blow a gasket. Huh. Very well. Well, Trite. There's nowhere for you to hide now. Other than looking like it was drawn by a 6-year-old. What kind of 6-year-old can draw this well? Why is everyone giving this artwork a hard time? Does the sketch prove anything? Yes, I'm pretty sure it does, and I'm going to prove it. Listen, I know your tricks. You're trying to turn this thing all upside down. If you're so eager to return this case upside down, why not start with this sketch? Upside down? Why did Godot say that? Alright then, let's hear the defense's theory. What exactly is this sketch trying to show? I don't think old Whiskerface is going to forgive any more mistakes. Alright, Phoenix, look carefully and think it over. This sketch drawn by Listonim is... complete contradiction. I guess that'll be the right one. Something is obviously funny about this sketch. I'm no art critic, but even I can see that. No, that's not what I mean, Your Honor. Maurice Donim stated it over and over that his sketch was exactly as he saw it. However, if we are to believe his testimony, then the sketch contradicts reality as we know it. It contradicts reality? Huh. This is getting interesting. Looks like you're back to that finger-pointing thing again. Okay, trite. So what exactly contradicts reality as we know it?
Take that!
It's the wire connected to the bridge. The wire? Huh. Is that the thing that contradicts reality? This is indeed... It is indeed. Then show us the reality it's supposed to conflict with. Show us the reality it's supposedly. Show us something that points out how the sketch contradicts reality. It is the Dusky Bridge photo. That's a photo of Dusky Bridge, correct? Yes. Now compare the sketch photo and the sketch and the photo for a minute. In the sketch, the wires appear to be above the guard wires. But on the actual Dusky Bridge, jumping Jehoshaphat! The wires are below the guard wires. What? Order! The sketch is somewhat different than what was depicted in the photo. Therefore, it turns everything upside down. However, isn't it likely the author just saw it wrong? Or perhaps he just drew it wrong. Either way, it sounds like you're just wrong. Someone like Maurice, I admit a mistake is a definite possibility. But then that begs the question, why did he make a mistake? What was the reason? Are you saying you know the answer to that? Listen, think back, alright? Remember what Maurice was doing when he witnessed this event? He was at Heavenly Hall waiting for a lover that was never going to come. Because he's lonely. And forever. He waited and finally he lay down. But then, lightning shoots from the sky and sets the bridge aflame. Now ponder what sort of position Maurice might have been at that time. He was lying on his back, which is why he remembered the scene the way he did. He was lying on his back. I can't see how it relates. But it does, Your Honor. That is the reason why the wires in the sketch go up instead of down. No way. Maurice Donim witnessed the event while he was lying on his back face up. In other words, the scene that he saw was actually upside down. So then, this sketch should actually... I think you're finally getting it, Your Honor. The correct way to view Maurice Donim's sketch is like this. This is how it should actually look. The victim's body wasn't flying above the bridge. It was actually swinging below. That's right, just like a pendulum. Ridiculous!
Objection!
Order, of all the things to say. A pendulum. The bridge was burning to a crisp. There was no way to get across it. But if the body had been found at the inner temple, it would have caused problems. This is where the criminal decided to take a gamble. They used the burning bridge to get the body across to the other side. And a pendulum was the only way to get it done.
Objection!
Let's think about this for a minute, shall we? Dusky Bridge is about 20 yards long, which means it's about this far from the inner temple to the opposite cliff. Yes, that sounds right. In order to cover that distance with the pendulum, you'd need a rope at least 10 yards long. To get a rope that long, you'd have to plan ahead. The lightning strike that night can only have been an accident, so it doesn't make sense that the culprit would have prepared the rope beforehand. So then, they didn't have to get the rope ready. The rope was already run in front of them. What? I'm saying that it's just a matter of using what was already there. In that case, Mr. Wright, please give us an explanation to support your theory. What makes you think the criminal had the rope to hand the pendulum? Probably a Dusky Bridge photo.
Take that!
And the meaning of this is, if you want to know where the rope came from, it's hanging right in front of your glorious beard. This is one of the wires from the bridge. When the lightning struck the bridge and set it on fire, one of the suspension wires came loose from its anchor. The criminal didn't have any time to waste, so they tied the wire around Eastonim's body. Whee! Look at him go! Whee! Apparently, it let it go after it went that high, because there was simply no other way to move the body. Huh. I don't need to make the noise, he's doing it himself. Mr. Godot? It seems that Mr. Godot is more focused on his coffee than answering my question. It seems that the odds of a rope being readily available were very high, so I suppose that it's not an impossibility after all. You drank all that and there was still that much left. Possible or impossible? That's not the question we need to ask. There's only one question. Did that really happen? Trite. I wonder if you can prove what happened to us. Do you have any actual evidence that the body was swung over like a pendulum? The fall. Before I present my evidence, let me review what we know so far. According to this photo, one of the wires snapped. Looking at the map, we can see it's the one that is in front of the inner temple. So then, that was the spot where the criminal... Yes, precisely. Now let us consider the body's movement by looking at the overhead map again. If the body was pushed from this point here... Whee! It would have dropped on the opposite bank at approximately this point. Did you say drop? Well, they must have failed to catch the body on the other bank. What? What makes you think something like that happened? Because I have evidence to suggest her body was dropped from a distance. What kind of evidence? Take a good look at this autopsy report. Or autopsy. It says here that her body fell about 10 feet after her death. 10 feet, huh? That's most likely the height of difference between the two sides. I'm speaking like the other person. Whoops! The body overswung due to the forward momentum, but then came loose and fell about 10 feet. And then, as a result of the landing impact, this crystal sphere was knocked loose. That's... Yes, the blood-stained amethyst crystal. It's the one that came off Mr. Eastonim's staff, which looks much smaller in this image. And even more important is the place where this crystal sphere was found. Indeed, I believe it's already marked on this overhead map. The crystal was found... Precisely, Your Honor. In the very spot where the pendulum would arrive if given the right amount of speed. This explains your theory quite well, Mr. Wright. You have provided us with the way the body could have moved that night. An impressive deduction, Mr. Wright. Most impressive. Mr. Wright? I thought this cold coffee might help cool you down. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Godot? I like that you heard it, like, midway as he was talking. That was a dark and bitter guess that you made, Trent. But you've forgotten one thing. Oh, what would that be? The aroma. Huh? The coffee's most reliable accomplice is its deep, profound aroma. The rest of the court doesn't speak Coffinese. Can you elaborate a bit more? The criminal had sent the body to the other side, like you say. Then naturally, you must have an accomplice lying in wait to catch it. An accomplice? The criminal wasn't able to cross Dusky Bridge. So, you collected the body. What do you have to say about that, Trite? Mr. Godot is correct. This can't be the work of a single person. Well, Mr. Wright, do you know who... You know what you must do. Yes, Your Honor. The body couldn't have made it to Hazakura Temple without an accomplice. Very well then, if you please, Mr. Wright. Who was the person that received the body on the Hazakura Temple side? I'll say Iris, because it makes more sense for her to be the one. It can only be you, Sister Iris. Huh? But I don't see why you're so surprised. The only way to transport the body from Dusky Bridge is by snowmobile. But with her bad back, Mrs. Sister Bikini could never pick up the body like that. You're the only one that could have managed it.
Objection!
Right. Even listening to the witness testimony. On the night of the crime, this little cutie pie was on cleanup duty in the inner temple garden after the murdered daughter's bloodbath.
Objection!
I haven't forgotten, but have you, Mr. Godot? This witness was also seen at Hazakura Temple, desecrating the corpse of the victim. Strange indeed. It's almost as if on that night the defendant was in two different places at the same time. Sister Iris, let me ask you something. Why didn't you mention when you first gave your testimony? Mention what? The pendulum, of course. Using this sketch by an eyewitness, I've established how the body was moved using the burnt-out bridge. Which means it's now a fact that this occurred, something you should already know. Yes, because I managed to just make up evidence, and it became true. No, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about a pendulum. But the body couldn't have been passed along to the other side without your help. So you should have known about it. In fact, it's impossible for you to be clueless about this whole thing. Unless you're not really Iris to begin with. What? How can you say that, Mr. Wright? What kind of nonsense is this? You're saying this witness isn't Iris of Hazakura Temple?
Objection!
Are you serious, Trite? You mean this woman is... There's no one besides Iris that could have received the corpse that night. Now I get it. Now I know why I've been sick to my stomach this whole trial. Why her whole demeanor changed so suddenly from yesterday. And why she's trying to pin the murder on Maya. The woman that's standing there at the witness stand. Her real name is Elise Donim. It's you! No. It's Edgeworth. Oh wait, it's Morgan Fay. Nah. I never thought I'd ever have to utter your name again, let alone see you. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. Hawthorne? Sister Iris had a twin sister. And you're looking at her, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. That name rings some bells. Distant bells, but bells nonetheless. Huh. It's just your imagination, Gramps. This file contains all the relevant data about Dahlia Hawthorne. Why does he just have that? Now that I think about it, he just has all this information about Dahlia Hawthorne on his person? Why? Oh yes, I remember now. That case, 5 years ago. My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I just want to say it's an honor for me to be in your noble presence. No, the honor is all mine. But, according to this, Dahlia Hawthorne is already dead. It says her execution was carried out last month. So what? Death has no meaning in this courtroom. He just throws that out. What? Order, order. Wait a moment. How can you, my sister, she's already dead. What kind of... You of all people should already understand, after all. The blood of the master Korean channeling technique flows within that body. Korean channeling technique? Now where have I heard that? That's right, you're not Dahlia Hawthorne herself. You're the spirit of Dahlia, currently inhabiting the body of a spirit medium. What an exciting story. But exciting, but quite impossible. You're asking us to buy that Dahlia Hawthorne just happened to be channeled by someone. On the very night of the murder, to a temple where her twin sister Iris was. Well, if you're going to put things that way, then yes.
Objection!
We're supposed to believe a coincidence like that just happens?
Objection!
Naturally, it was no coincidence. The whole thing was part of a plan from the very beginning. It was all written here in these instructions. What's that? These instructions were written by your mother, Morgan Fay. And part of the plan called for Dahlia Hawthorne to be channeled. That night, there were 2 irises at Hazakura Temple. 2 of them? Things are getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them. Even the time of the channeling was planned out. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, in other words 10 p.m., however, Iris was seen before dinner time. That means the Iris that was at dinner was the real Iris. And then the Iris who gave me this hood in the main hall was also the real Iris. Meaning that this Iris sister Bikini saw at the inner temple was someone else dressed as her, namely one Dahlia Hawthorne.
Objection!
You even know what you're saying, trite? This whole channeling the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne business. Yes, it's true that you found the plans that talk about it. However, there's one thing that's perfectly clear. The witness currently standing in the court stand is the real Iris. What? Calm down and remember what you know about the night of the crime. After meeting Sister Bikini and Dahlia Hawthorne that had been channeled, would have been stranded at the inner temple due to the lightning strike. Whee! It's later that the body was moved by pendulum. That's right. Naturally, that would mean that the Iris that received the body was the real Iris. Are you with me so far? Yes. After being notified of what happened, the police came to Hazakura Temple's main hall. There, they found Iris in her room and arrested her. And ever since, she's been under police supervision at the detention center. Yes, I suppose. I can't deny any of that, except we know that she got split out when she went to run off at the earthquake situation. Phew, thank goodness. It looks like he's finally convinced. But something still seems off, way off. I'm still not convinced that Iris here is the same one from the other night. Huh. I suppose you're about to say something really ridiculous. Like the real Iris and the spirit of Dahlia somehow switched places. Switched places? To be perfectly honest, there are still quite a few things I don't understand, but I do know that unless we confirm the witness's identity, we can't continue with this trial. Iris doesn't have the spiritual power needed to channel Dahlia, which means they must have switched places somewhere. Well, Mr. Wright, since the time she was arrested at Hazakura Temple, have there been any chances for Iris to switch places with Dahlia Hawthorne? Yes. Your Honor, I think there may have been one chance. Oh, explain yourself. Yesterday, for a few moments, Iris's whereabouts were unknown. Unknown? What do you mean? What I mean is, there was a span of time in which Iris was able to move about freely, unsupervised. Well, who was it? Who would give a murder suspect time to move about freely like that? I'm sorry, Edgeworth. We're gonna have to throw you under the bus here. I'm sorry. I know you didn't mean to. It wasn't your fault. The person who gave Iris the chance to move freely about was Edgy Poo. This is Mr. Edgeworth, isn't it? Your Honor, there was a fairly large earthquake yesterday, was there not? An earthquake? Earthquake? Oh my goodness, temple's in a temporal, I kind of tremble, mate. In that moment, everyone in the room died. How could I have been? She fled. She escaped. We went to the inner temple right away. And it's true, Iris was already there. However, they had already switched places by that point in time. When I arrived at the training hall, I was met by none other than Dahlia Hawthorne. That's quite enough already, Mr. Wright. Now see here. No judge here in his right mind. Oh man, I was about to read that. Be quiet. It's been a long time, Mr. Judge. That voice. Guess I'll have to ask again. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. That's one of my rules. Dahlia Hawthorne, and my current profession? Permanently retired. Ah! I did that in the wrong tone, but you get the point. So you're not going to bother hiding your identity anymore, huh? Why should I? After all, I'm dead. There's really nothing you can do to punish me. What is going on here? Dahlia Hawthorne. I never thought we'd meet again, and I never thought we'd meet like this. But this time I'll end it, for her and for myself. Woo! To be continued, we're speaking with a dead person. Woo! You know, they shouldn't really be surprised. Again, this happened in court already. Granted, this is probably a more extreme version of that, but still. February 10th, 1:06 p.m. Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Did we have a recess? I didn't see it. Well, witness. Yes, how can I help you, Mr. Judge? Well, it seems that if we're to learn the truth, we'll need to hear your testimony. I have no problem with that. But when you see what I have... when you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown. In any case, let's hear your testimony. Tell us about the plan that was carried out that night. The whole plan began with my death. A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fay would first have to die. The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway. So, that means you really are... Wait a minute. Did you just say the plan was to kill Maya Fay? Yes, you have a problem with that? Don't just give us that nonsense. There's no way that... Watch yourself, trite. If you've got a problem, solve it during cross-examination. That's one of my rules. Miss Godot is correct. By the way, that's one of my rules as well. To kill Maya, could it be true? You were executed last month, correct? Yes, I was hanged. Hanged? What the fuck? What are we, in the 18th century? I don't think anyone does hanging anymore. What? Usually it's like lethal injections or like something. Not, oh, I was put a rope around my neck like I was from the 18th century and was a waif of a thief in the Wild West. Or I was a pirate. It wasn't exactly pleasant. How did you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay? Last year, she was transferred to the same detention center as me. Since I was on death row, since she was my mother, it was actually pretty easy to meet with her. I see. So that's when you discussed the plan. Huh? Are you crazy? At first, that woman was planning to kill me as well. Even though I'm her own daughter. Ultimate Pearl Fay the Master Crane? Wow! Planned to kill her own daughter, but she was going to get killed anyway. She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor. The honor she'd lost when her younger sister, Misty, took her place as master. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan. A plan, huh? You're talking about Pearl Fay, is that correct? Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us. You and your twin sister Iris. That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spirit power. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with our father. Abandoned? The only person I ever really cared about in my life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I was convinced my father to leave her at an old temple. Or so I convinced my father. You mean Iris? Yes, my father remarried a woman who has also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right? Wow! Wow! And on top of that, my father has absolutely no interest in children in general. Even though he had some. How horrible. The really horrible one was that bitter woman. That bitter, vengeful woman. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Fay. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power, unfortunately for her. Morgan Fay heaped all her broken dreams and hopes onto this poor child's back. All because of her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family. Maya would have to die, but why? For our bloodline to succeed as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master. The remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of.
Objection!
But Pearls would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya. How sad. You still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of the master. That's all. That's ridiculous, but it's the truth. We know this. She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter, and naturally, the life of Maya Fay as well. How can anyone do that? You were going to kill Maya? Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she had to do was follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. And then I would have simply used her body and finished the job. In any case, I'm already dead, and there's nothing any of you can do to me. So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger twin. On Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. She and I look absolutely identical, so no one could tell us apart. If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it. And the witness in this case was the head nun, Sister Bikini. I never would have guessed she was going to return to the Hazakura Temple that night, but she wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway. But why did you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place? She's your twin sister, isn't she? Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her. Backstabber? You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway. You think the plan was a success? You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped. Maya Fay is dead. Now the title of the master will be passed on to Pearl Fay. That's absurd. Maya is just... She's just trapped inside the sacred cavern. Really? You're as foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you, my darling Feeny? Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I've despised you. Your sniveling naivete and your pathetic faith in other people. I just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Fay's plan? I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point, no value, other than fulfilling her own greedy desires. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of. If that's how you feel, why didn't you help her carry it out? Or why did you? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya? You may not understand it, but being the kind and gentle soul that you are, you may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that. So then tell me why. Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only act in my own self-interest. The reason I helped her was for myself. For my own personal satisfaction. What did you say? So this woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead? Do you understand now? Can you see the truth behind my reason? Guess I'll press on it first. Obviously, it's because you were helping Morgan Fay. Helping? Don't make me laugh. From the day I was born to the day I died, I never helped anyone. I lived for myself and, in the end, I died for myself. I thought that was obvious. So she wasn't actually cooperating with Morgan. She was just using Morgan and her plan so she could accomplish her own goal. All I wanted to do was kill Maya Fey. That was the only way I could think of to get revenge. Revenge? Looks like I have no choice but to present that piece of evidence. I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya. I've got to keep a cool head. And I need to get more information out of her. It's the only way to understand this plan and what she was after as well. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Evidence. What to show? Maybe this one? No. Maybe it is just the part then. Nope. That's me. Reveal that piece of evidence. I'm wondering what that piece of evidence would be. I didn't even click that, but sure. Thank you, Swordmaster. This one? Whoops. No. Load. I don't think I have anything that I can actually present. Lightning strikes. Care for the victim's staff. I don't know. I'll just randomly select her. Oh, okay. I kind of had a feeling that it might have been that, but I was like, do I have to present evidence or an actual profile? And I was like, I guess I'll just show her. Could it be that your actual goal had but nothing to do with Maya Fey herself? As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore. Because I'm already dead. Well, I had the same problem, you see. But you can't punish the dead, and you can't take revenge against them either. You wanted to take revenge on someone? I was sentenced to die because of that woman, Mia Fey. I somehow knew this was it. I wanted to send her a message to my own cousin. It was her hands that I had suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain she had made me feel. Sadly, when I realized revenge was impossible, I gave up. And the reason it was impossible was it perhaps because Mia Fey had already died. Yes, and I realized there's only one way to take revenge against the dead. And how you do that? Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. I wanted to take away the person that Mia Fey had loved most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take revenge against Mia Fey. And that was the reason I helped out with that woman's plans. Just for that? For that you would kill Maya? Your goal was no different than that of Morgan Fey. As they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. What a cruel plan, cruel, cold, and heartless. Don't waste your time preaching to the dead. I've already told you, there's not a thing you can do to me. That night, at about 9:30 p.m., I materialized into this world. I quickly pinned my hair up and put on a demon-warding hood. And then I picked up the staff that was by the side and left Hazakura Temple. So, it was Aliso Nim who channeled her after all. That ridiculous head nun never noticed a thing. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. She left Maya Fey at the inner temple and wobbled back, clutching her poor old back. What did you do then? That kid was easier to handle than I'd hoped. I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern, and then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... That was a different face. So then you're saying you stabbed Maya? It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. What does that mean? No clear memory. I don't know. I think I was stabbed. You were stabbed. At the last minute, Maya Fey must have stabbed me. I'm sure of it. That's not like her at all. Maya wouldn't stab a French fry with a plastic fork. Anyway, I suddenly lost consciousness. But before I did, I scrawled her name on the lantern. Just as I was passing out, I wrote Maya behind my back. I had hoped it would cast suspicion on her. I can't believe she was thinking of that until the very bitter end. That's where my memory temporarily stops. It stops? I don't have any memory of actually killing Maya Fey with my own two hands. My very last memory was Maya's terror-filled eyes. When I woke up after that, I was in the sacred garden surrounded by darkness. You were in the sacred cavern? The entrance was sealed with one of those trick locks. Somehow I had been trapped in there. But how did you wind up in there? I'd like to know that myself. Anyway, I was worried. I didn't know whether or not Maya Fey was dead, and I swore I wouldn't return to the underworld until I knew I had killed her myself. For a ghost, you're one tough cookie. I wanted to get out of there and make sure she was dead. But I couldn't get out. I couldn't do it. The trick lock stopped you, huh? I didn't know how to remove it. So then you're saying you were actually confined against your will inside the sacred cavern? Yes, I wanted to get rid of that annoying lock as soon as possible. But it wasn't easy. I kept interrupted while I was working on it. Interrupted? It was early in the morning, but someone came into the training hall. What? Who? Could it have been Maya? I thought the same thing, but I couldn't see. Why not? If someone had spotted me, I would have lost my chance to take revenge. so I made sure to hide myself well at the back of the sacred cavern. That morning, only 2 people could have gotten into Training Hall. Maya and Pearls. Pearls went there to cover the hanging scroll and gravy. Still, I finally managed to remove the lock. But I was too late. What do you mean by that? The flies had already started to gather. The bridge had been fixed, and the police had started an investigation, correct? Naturally, I couldn't go out. So instead, I returned to the cavern and put the lock back on myself. I realized I couldn't get past to see... I wouldn't get to see a chance to see Maya's corpse as I had hoped. But then, just then, Lady Luck showed up. Lady Luck? After that big earthquake, she showed up, all by herself. With a real iris? She said she'd come to make sure the sacred cavern was all right. Stupid girl. I came out from the sacred cavern and got a feel for the situation. And then I locked her away in my place. I had finally learned exactly what had happened. It was then that I'd learned the plan had actually succeeded. What do you mean your plan has succeeded? I had misunderstood one thing, you see. That night, the one that had summoned me had assumed it was Pearl Fay. Well, of course you would have assumed that. It was written down in the instructions. But I was wrong. The person that had actually called my spirit back was... Misty Fay, the picture book author. What? Well, that's really the only possibility, isn't it? After I had lost consciousness in the garden, it was her body that was left lying there. Maya Fay. I wasn't able to kill her with my own hands after all. But even so, I made her commit the most vile sin a human can commit. And that is patricide, the sin of killing her own mother. No way! Order in the court. What is the meaning of this? It's true that I was the one who attacked Maya Fay, but even so, the murderer who actually snuffed out Misty Fay's life was none other than me. Your darling little Maya. Ridiculous. That's nonsense. Are you sure about that? Just think about it. There's even evidence supporting these facts, isn't there? What? What do you mean? What is this so-called evidence? The fact that Maya has disappeared is evidence enough, isn't it? Huh? The idea that she's still in the sacred cavern is just ridiculous. She wasn't able to escape from the inner temple, that much is obvious. In that case, there is only one place she could be. Where? Do I have to spell it out? The bottom of the Eagle River. Where else? Eagle River? Maya killed her long-lost mother. Can you imagine the guilt she must have felt when she realized that? That's why she threw herself into the Eagle River. Most bodies that wind up in there are lost forever. So, what do you have to say now, Feeny? Does he seriously have that as his ringtone? Oh my god! Oops, sorry, that's my phone. What kind of ringtone is that? It's his theme song, you leave him alone. Godot here. Okay, thanks. Was it something important? They just finished removing the locks from the sacred cavern. Well, that's great. What about Maya? There was a woman in the cave. Was it Maya? Faye? It was the accused, Sister Iris. Huh? Don't look so surprised. I locked her in there yesterday. I just finished telling you that. So, what about Maya? Where is she? There's no one else found inside the sacred cavern. No, can't be. Are we really this stupid? I told you, didn't I? She's dead. No. No! I can't go that long in that voice. We really are this stupid then, alright. I mean, it's quite obvious what's happened, but I guess I won't say anything if it's not that obvious. It seems that this case has come to an end, a tragic end. Sadly, it appears the killer of Listo Nim, also known as Misty Faye, was her own daughter, Maya Faye. Overcome with guilt for what she had done, Maya Faye jumped to her death in the raging waters of the Eagle River. It can't be. Ha. That's probably Godot. Huh. Trite. Have you ever heard this one? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth, no matter how improbable it may seem. What is that supposed to mean, Prosecutor Godot? According to the witness, Maya Faye threw herself into the Eagle River. However, is that really the truth? Remember, this woman testified earlier that the bridge was already on fire when the murder was taking place in the garden, which means Maya had thrown herself into the river. It must have been from the inner temple side near the bridge. That's right, that's where she jumped from. But that's impossible. It's impossible to jump from the river from there. What? Don't get your panties up, all twisted up, Trite. Just relax and think through the whole thing again. So it's impossible? Maya couldn't have thrown herself into Eagle River. Well, Mr. Wright, Miss Hawthorne claims Miss Faye threw herself into the river from the inner temple side. Do you have evidence that refutes this claim? Probably the map. Yeah, you know, the obvious rock outcropping that we learned in, like, the previous case? That's not the only reason why I know what's going on, but, like, it's obvious what's gone on. I'll just say this. Who the hell is channeling Dahlia now? Pearls is not. Elise is dead. There's no one else here to do it. That's all I'll say. It's impossible to jump into Eagle River from this inside of the inner temple. No one knows that better than this witness. What did you say? 11 years ago, you jumped into the very same river. Just take a look at this overhead map. As you can see, below the cliff of the inner temple side is a big rock shelf. Oh, you're right. She wouldn't have reached the river if she had jumped off from there. In other words, if she had jumped, we should be able to see her body in this photo. Ha, she finally figured it out. No! Bam, 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 bam. Order! You're just playing with me. Maya Faye's body's at the bottom of the Eagle River. There's nowhere else she could possibly be hiding. Miss Hawthorne, have you ever heard this one before? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Yes, just a few minutes ago. Because he said it. The other guy said it. Maya Faye wasn't inside the secret cavern. We know that she didn't throw herself into the Eagle River. Correct. It eliminates all the most likely possibilities. Now, although it seems improbable, there's still one other place she could be. What? What is this one possibility you are talking about? That's obviously a bluff. So where is her dead body then? Finally, I think the pieces are falling into place. Normally the living have no way to punish the dead. But I think there's a way to give Dahlia Hawthorne the ultimate punishment. Shall I tell you, Miss Hawthorne? Shall I tell you where Maya is this very instant? Maya Faye is in this very courtroom. There's only one possibility left. Namely, she's right here in this very courtroom. What? Maya Faye is here? You say that she's here in my courtroom? Dahlia Hawthorne, I seem to recall that you said I had misunderstood one thing, you see. So what? But I think there's one thing you misunderstood, or one more thing. What do you mean? Tell me something. At this very moment, who is channeling Dahlia Hawthorne? Why? That's obvious. It's Pearl Fay, that pathetic little sniveling runt. You're wrong. Pearl Fay's right here. Picks her up from the floor like a dog or something. It's like, this is Pearl Fay. Look at her cute little face. And she's like, bah, bah, bah. Imagining like Pearl Fay being held up, and she's just like limp, but she's like got this like puppy dog eyes going. Bah, 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 bah. Oh, sorry, I just stupid thought there, but yeah. Pearl's tried, but she couldn't do it. I've never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened. Isn't there an explanation for why it couldn't channel a spirit? It could happen if someone else had already channeled the same spirit. Someone called me before Pearl did, but who? Pearl's even tried again on the day after the crime, but she couldn't do it. What could that mean? I think the truth is becoming clearer to you right about now. Am I correct? It wasn't Pearls that channeled you. There was someone else who could do it before she could. It was me! Yeah, it was Maya. This is an easy one. Pearls couldn't do it and Misty Fay is gone. There's only one other possibility left. Come on already. I can't stand the tension. Dahlia Hawthorne. The person channeling you right now must be Maya Fay. What? But how could that be? Remember what the witness Dahlia Hawthorne said about her goal. She said that her goal was to kill Maya Fay. Yes, that's right. But if Maya channeled the spirit of someone that was trying to kill her... Huh. Well, Gramps, what would happen? Could it be... It looks like you finally understand, Your Honor. He's actually getting it. His brain is growing. Well, I don't. What are you going on about? Well, what I'm going on about is the reason Maya channeled you. And there's only one reason. To protect herself from you. To protect herself from me? Yes. On the night of the crime, you were only interested in one thing. Killing Maya Fay. The path back to Hazakura Temple was closed off and there was nowhere to run for her to run. So then the problem became, where would be the safest place to hide? You mean, that's when she channeled me? All this time you thought you had been channeled by Pearls. That's why it never occurred to you that Maya was hiding place was you. No, don't say that. You're saying that Dahlia Hawthorne, was played for a fool by that little whelp? Maya Fay killed herself, isn't it obvious?
Objection!
Sorry, but no. It would have been impossible for her to jump into Eagle River. This was the only avenue of escape open to Maya. The only way that Maya could disappear from the inner temple. I don't believe you. A stupid little girl like that who has never been out in the real world. Actually, she has. She has a mobile phone. She could never have come up with a plan like that. Who could have ever have given her such a brilliant idea? Well, me, of course. Oh, hi. Mia. Mia Fay. Been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. The dough's out for commission again. So it's true. It's you. Yes. Huh. Something else. But what? What are you doing here? That hair. It's Pearls, right? Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to that night one more time. You had just cornered Maya in the Inner Temple's garden. And then, in the final moments of your fight, you lost consciousness. I was stabbed by Maya Fay. Actually, Maya lost consciousness at the same time as you. She did? Not terribly surprising, she was about to be killed. When she woke up, she was in the training hall. That's when Maya decided she needed help, so she channeled me. She explained in a memo the situation she was in. She asked me what I thought she should do. She did that? Cannot believe it. Of course, I didn't have all the details, but one thing was perfectly clear. And that was, I knew that you couldn't be allowed to wander free. Free? What do you mean? It was a race against time, so I wrote down 2 things that Maya had to do. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible, and lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived. So it was Maya who put that lock up there. Yes, but why would you order her to do those 2 things? If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. Pearl Faye! By one Pearl Faye. You know, I just realized Pearl's been here this whole time. She has been hearing all this, so she would be able to know the truth from all that. Good! Finally! Maybe hard, but it's something that she need to know. Pearls. Yes, Pearls didn't probably understand the plan. So all she was trying to do was follow her mother, Morgan Faye's instructions. If she had succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out badly, to put it mildly. So that's how it is. Dahlia Hawthorne would have used the body of Pearl Faye to kill Maya at all costs. Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along. How dare you! I won't forget this. Why not just admit it, Dahlia Hawthorne? Your little plan was nothing but a big failure. Yes, another failure to add to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say? What do you mean by that? By another? Think about it, Dahlia. Remember all your past crimes? Wow, we're just going to be digging into her past now, just completely destroy her, I guess. Not a single one of them has a success. They all ended in failure. What? How dare you? 11 years ago... The fake kidnapping, your very first crime. You got your hands on a $2 million diamond, but... After Terry Falls escaped and went to meet with Valerie Hawthorne, the truth was exposed. Shut your mouth, that wasn't my fault. It was because of that stupid oaf of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman. And then, 1 year later, you tried to kill me. Well, I'm still alive, but... You wound up killing someone else. As a result, you were sentenced to death. It's one stupid move after another for you, but it's no longer funny. You wipe that smug, happy-go-lucky smile off your face. And now this. You've messed up again. You let Maya escape. Even though she was right there in front of you. Don't know how to do all that. Mia Faye. Mia Faye. I can't do all that. Mia Faye. Mia Faye. You spinster. I was supposed to kill Maya Faye like I swore I would. If only you had gotten this spiky-head jerk the guilty verdict, I wouldn't have been hanged to death. True. But I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me. What? What did you say? Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you will never defeat me. As long as I'm around, you're destined to lose for all eternity. Grr. She's turning into a dog. I remember what you said earlier in the trial. You said there was no way we could punish you, because you were already dead. What about it? And you said it. Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. That's very true, Dahlia. And that's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from. For all eternity, you have to remain as Dahlia Hawthorne. A miserable, pathetic, weak creature who can never win at anything. And for you, there is no escape from that. No hope of freedom. Since the day you were executed, the narrow bridge that once stretched out in front of you has burnt to a crisp. You are wrong. It can't be. How could I lose to the likes of you? It no longer matters. I don't care whether you win or lose anymore. The only thing I want is for you to come out of Maya's body right now. I can't do that long. Aye. Can you just force someone out like that? Wasn't a thing before, but okay. I'm not ready. Not ready to go. It's the Megatama. Is she just gone, or is she just going to come back at some point again? Nick, sis. Yeah! Hey, Sean. Now then, I assume you are the real Iris? Yes, I was just rescued from the Sacred Cavern. I must say, you and your twin sister are indeed identical from what I can see. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Miss Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne? You ask me, Your Honor. It looks like she went back to the hell she came from. Seems that Misty Faye wasn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Faye, as well as the young Pearl Faye, were also victims of this wicked and selfish plan. Yes, Your Honor. The tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end, it seems. It would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again. Yeah, anyone in this courtroom, don't channel her, okay? Even though it's only 2 people in this room that could. I think at this point, like, she just stops showing up now because no one else is going to know about her. Your Honor? Yes, what is it? About this whole spirit medium thing. It's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now. Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. That's why I made a concerted effort to study up my career on the Korean channeling technique, because, you know, just a random thing that I just suddenly decided to do was so important. Hey, isn't that the new issue of Occult? The New Year's issue. I've seen quite a few things in my many years on the bench, and in all that time I finally learned this one thing. Each case is different, and that takes place in its world, if you will. In order to fully understand that world, first we have to immerse ourselves completely in it. And that's where my brother and I used to differ. Never thought of it that way. At any rate, it's time to pass judgment in the case of the Iris of Hazakura Temple. Now, she's not guilty of murder, but she is guilty of being an accomplice, so she might still go to prison.
Objection!
You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor. What do you mean by that, Mr. Godot? This trial isn't over yet, that's what he means. What? Right. Remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony. Huh? Dahlia's testimony? I caught her with her in front of the stone lantern. And I took the dagger and I got in storeroom and... stab! It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. I think I was stabbed. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya, she was stabbed and killed by someone. Yes, that's right. The person that was ultimately killed was a spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. Listo Nim. No, Misty Faye. But who killed her? I still don't know who did it. This isn't over? Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. We can't let her walk out until there's proof that proves her innocent. We literally just proved that she was no way in the area of the killing. It was impossible because of the bridge being burnt out. What the hell more do you want us to prove? We'll just point a finger at random someone. Okay, it was Mia that killed her. I don't know. No way. But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony. The prosecution is ready to call our final witness. Final witness? This one will clear up the whole mystery. The mystery of who killed Misty Faye. Indeed. Is it really alright, Mr. Prosecutor? Of course it's alright, Madam Attorney. Very well then. Who is this final witness? Ha! Isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the whole event and will put the final dagger in this case. Someone who saw the murder take place. The very person who saw her mother killed in her own eyes. Oh, Maya. You mean Maya? She can't testify after what she's just been through. She hasn't eaten for like 3 days. She's gonna die. We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls Maya Faye to the witness stand. Very well. But first we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Faye to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we will proceed with the trial. Hey, Trite. I've got something to say to you, so listen up. What is it? I don't think much of you as a lawyer. Is lawyer always the same with you? You somehow manage to just squeak by without even a faint understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last moment to save you. You've got some nerve. I mean, he's not wrong. Mia's always here and she just suddenly just shows up and just finishes it for you. But that's not going to be happening this time. This time, you're going to have to do this by yourself. That's enough. This court is now in recess. Woo! I'm truly sorry about everything. You were working so hard to defend me, but I was missing all day and we didn't even have a chance to talk. She's right. When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, they had already switched places and Iris was inside the sacred cavern. We had a roundabout Godot. Damn, I wish I had a round. It's fine. It wasn't that long one. I wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root you on. Well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up this whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I have to ask you. Why did you help your sister out as much as you did? Huh? If you had tried to get help at the sacred cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent an entire day locked up in there. My sister, I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by our mother and never got any love from her father either. Yes, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it? Yes, but at least I had Sister Bikini, who was like a mother to me. If only Dahlia had come with me to Hazakura Temple. She's the one that forced you to go there. I always loved her. Dahlia was always so smart, so strong. She never complained about a thing. That's why I promised that I would help her. You talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago? Yes. I wanted to be useful to her in some way. But, as usual, I was too cowardly. At the last moment I ran away. Because of that, Dahlia's stepsister Valerie ended up... And then that guy ended up drinking poison. That was the case that wounded Mia so badly. But things didn't end up there, of course. Some people suspected that my sister was involved in the murder. Some people, you must mean... Yes, 2 defense attorneys. Mia Faye and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who was getting close to learning the truth, Dahlia even tried to kill the person who had unknowingly hid the poison for her. You. That's right. Iris, there's one more thing that I have to ask you. Yes, what is it? On the night of the murder, was the person that cleaned up the corpse the victim released on him? Was it really you? Yes, it was me. That night after I rang the lights out bell, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received a call on my cell phone. This is probably Dahlia. It's like, there's a problem. Come to the inner temple right away. I got in the snowmobile and headed for the inner temple. But the bridge had caught fire. With a JPEG of a fire. The path to the inner temple was cut off, right? Exactly. You can't just leave the body here. So, you've got to do exactly as I say. Got it? Whee! This is always going to get me. It's just so silly. It was me. I was the one that received her body. The murder weapon had been left in her body so she wouldn't bleed too much. The staff that Mystic Elise always held. I knew it. So the actual murder weapon was the staff. Yes, that's right. I brought the temple body back to the Hazakura temple on the snowmobile. But why? Why did you alter the body? I didn't want anyone to know that the staff was the murder weapon. I didn't want to leave anything that would lead back to Misty Faye. So I dressed her in a robe and stabbed her with the Shishishito. I wiped the blood off the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground. Iris, just tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called your cell phone, the real killer. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. I can't say who did it. I see. It wasn't Dahlia then. Because she could have just said it was Dahlia, but she didn't. So that makes me think it was someone else then. Defendant. Yes? The judge is calling you. He wants you to see you in his chambers. He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne. All right. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you. Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me. I still love you. So it's true. Iris cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning. Phoenix. Hey, Mia. Mia. How's it going, Mia? Or how is Maya doing? Okay, that's different from what you said. I don't know why I said that. Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely. But emotionally, she's been hurt very badly by this case. I see. You don't mean she learned who Lee Stonim really was? Yes. I went to the medical office and talked with her. I told her everything I knew. But why? Maya is stronger than you think. I knew she could take it. All of it. Phrasing. Okay. What do you mean by that? I want you to figure out that answer by yourself. The trial is about to restart. Real killer. Do you know who it is yet? Iris wouldn't tell me who caught her, but still. I think that just maybe I know who it was. That night, the victim was killed in the garden of the inner temple. And the criminal wasn't just there by accident. Which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning. And one more thing. The victim was moved to the Hazakura temple side by pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means they were stuck on the inner temple side for most of an entire day. Plus, Dahlia didn't know about the burning bridge, so she wouldn't have come up with that plan. Exactly. So the culprit was someone that wasn't in Hazakura Temple the following day. And remember, she only had a memory of being locked inside the cavern. That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win or to lose. Okay, I've got it. Thank you, Mia. Finally, I get to prove that I'm actually a lawyer and don't need ghosts to tell me how to win. It's almost time to bring the case to an end. What exactly did Maya see anyway? And who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me, all by myself. Woo! I'm actually going to probably just keep pushing because I think we're at the last stretch now. So, save. Let's get this done. February 10th, 3:36. Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the tests we performed earlier. Tests? Yes, tests on the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh yeah, that. I totally forgot about it. That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim. So what are the results? Was it the victim's blood or... Due to time constraints, the full test wasn't possible. However, there's one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on the dagger was not the victim's blood. That is all. Now then, let's restart the trial. So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger? Then whose was it? Blood doesn't match the victim's. Woo! I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims. I understand, Your Honor. From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking, so let's finish this quickly. Agreed. Very well, please bring in the last witness. Oh, she's dressed all up normal. Man, I liked it better when her hair was down. Witness, please tell us your name and profession. Maya Fey. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager at Wright and Clow Law Offices. Maya. According to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of Korean channeling technique? I'm frightened. The Fey clan, I don't want any more to do with it. Oh, Maya. The pain of the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable. Very well. Now then, Miss Fey. When the event occurred, you were in the garden of the Inner Temple. And you witnessed the moment of Elise Donim's murder. Is this correct? I didn't see...
Objection!
No way they would put that much effort to make it a new sprite. They could have just left her looking upwards like she did when she came back. Straighten up this instant, young lady. Huh? Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. But your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witness come out and you've seen her squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? It's Capcom, but yeah, it's old Capcom too, but, you know. Witness, if you please. Yes, Your Honor. At the Inner Temple. It's been a while since I've done Maya. I've kind of forgotten how to do her. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against a stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" Then something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been their staff. Maya, the person who hit you, it was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I didn't know who it was. Maya, think hard. Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't. Can't say it's an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. Seems that it will be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright, please begin your cross-examination. Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. Just give her some morphine, she'll be fine. Or adrenaline, or whatever. Who else was on the Inner Temple side that night? Well, Sister Bikini, of course. But I remember her saying that Iris would be coming later as well. On the day after the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini at Hazakura Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. So then, did Iris actually come later, like she said? Well, let me think. She seems confused. It's probably because she's so tired. No, I'm sure I didn't see her. He must have come while I was preparing for the training. Who did it? Who hit you? Well, I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind. You didn't see the person? But after that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not have seen who it was? Oh, let me think for a sec. I'm sorry, I just can't remember. Maya's really having a hard time. What should I do? I push her so hard she mentally breaks. Press her. Come on, Maya. This isn't making sense. Why didn't you see this person? Well, let me think. It was, oh yeah, that's right. It was dark, that's it. It was dark? It's not good to have too much light around when someone is undergoing spiritual training. Come to think of it, there was an earlier testimony to that effect as well. So it was dark in the garden at night of the crime. Which is why she didn't see her attacker. Which is already, again, we know that's not true! I thought maybe she was trying to hide something, but I guess not. Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was most likely the spirit that was channeled by a least on him, Dahlia Hawthorne. Very well, please continue with the testimony. What happened after you were struck on the head? What happened afterwards? My attacker was in front of me, blocking off my escape, I think. You think? After getting hit like that, I was in a state of panic. There was two things that rolling around in my mind at the time. Well now, this is beginning to get interesting. So what were the two things rolling around in your mind? My name is Maya Fey. 1 + 1 = 2. You see, for some crazy reason, I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd considering my life was in danger, but that's how it is. No, I understand that. I do that sometimes too. Like, whenever you get like a dizzy spell, or when I got one or something, or I felt like something was off, I'll be like, okay, I need to make sure I'm not having a stroke or something. So I'll say something verbally like, oh, 1 + 1 = 2, and do my alphabet, and I go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you know, like stuff like that. Like, okay, I'm fine. I'm just over-exaggerating what I'm feeling. Kind of deal. So I know what she's saying. Yeah. That's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable, given the circumstances. Yeah, even the judge understands. I don't know if that's a good thing, but yeah. So, what did you do then? You think you screamed, but you're not sure. Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits. Believe me, my dear, I certainly wouldn't have I would have sold my robes. I thought this person might attack me, so I... Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that was my last hope. Wow, sounds like poor Maya really was out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by lost hope. What do I do? I press it for more details. My last hope. Wait a minute, Maya. What's this about my last hope stuff? What? What do you mean by your last hope? No. That's what you said. You said my last hope. Huh? What? I said what? Look, you were facing an attacker you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, help me. Yeah. But you testified that you screamed because you thought it was your last hope. Oh, well, you know, that's like what you do call when it happens. Maya's not doing so well up there. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. What did you just say? Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming at for help. Ah! What is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. Huh? Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person? I meant to keep that part a secret. What have I done? Takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. Ton of pressure. We're in court of law here. Can't make things up to try and hide things in this chamber. Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. Oh, I'm losing my voice. I want you to add it to your testimony. A man? Who was it this man? Who was this man? Well, you see, I couldn't see. You couldn't see. She used this excuse twice now. Well, you know, lantern light isn't very bright. Lantern light, you say? There's a great big stone lantern in the garden. They always light it when an acolyte is there for training. Hey, you know what they say, under the lantern, darkness reigns? So I could see the person that was further away, but not the attacker who was closer. Plus, there weren't any other light sources in the garden at the time.
Objection!
So there was a man standing behind your attacker. Yeah. That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Nim, otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother. The killer? You know who killed your mother, don't you? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? To be frank, Your Honor, I think she's in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony. Huh? What do you mean? What problem? Maya, on the night of the crime, the stone lantern was out of commission. Huh? What? It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night, which again was proven false because we literally were there and the light lanterns around that, you know, the fire ones, were lit. Whatever. Fuck it. Who cares? Apparently they don't. No. Order in the court. Mr. Godot, explain this. Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee. Stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of cafe au lait. Cafe au lait? Is that even legal? Shh, let him cook. Mr. Trite's words of the milk you undo on the spoon, Your Honor. I'm a spoon? I'm no spoony bot, I'll have you know. Must have noted it too, Trite. This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that.
Objection!
Sorry, but that's not going to cut it. What did you say? If there was truly no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. Nick? May I recall the witness's testimony about her attacker? She said that she didn't know it was a man or a woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker. She quite clearly described him as a man. In other words, that would have to have mean that Maya actually saw our mysterious person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of her own attacker. No! That's not true! That's impossible! Order in the court. What in the world does this mean all mean, right? Are you saying Miss Faye saw the real killer under pitch-black conditions?
Objection!
Trite, do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source in that scene.
Objection!
There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now you're trying to cover for him. Cover? For the man that killed her mother? There's only one conclusion that I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you. Ha! You took a good game, Trite. Let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black, so what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff. No, Nick, don't. Please, stop. Maya is dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth, no matter how much it hurts. So shut up, Maya! Alright, Mr. Wright, time to show us what you got. Who was the person that you say Miss Faye saw in the darkness? Well, there's only one person who has a light source, and it's Larry. Him and his stupid idiocies, so it's seen in the dark that anyone can see it. Nah, it's the guy with the glow-in-the-dark mask. As we know, in the previous case, when everything got shut off by a power grid, and it went pitch black, his was the only thing that was seeable. So...
Take that!
Because it was pitch black, Miss Fay was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see it for itself how this is possible, yes? What? But how do you propose to show something like that? It's easy. We just need to recreate the key conditions of that night. Conditions? Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. Just did it. Didn't even say yes or no. This is... It can't be. Huh. That's a lot brighter than I remember, but whatever. That's a nice bit of deduction. Trite. Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. Order, order, order. Prosecutor, what's the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Huh. Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Might be because of the HD collection? Maybe? Maybe they made it brighter to show more of his face, because I recall in the previous case it just showed the lines. That's fine. It made it cooler. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights? Well, witness, answer the question. You're wrong. I never saw that. Maya. I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man. For a totally different reason. What? Witness, Mr. Wright, what the... Stop your chattering, Your Honor. Chattering? If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. All right. How about I hold you in contempt of court, Mr. Godot? Stop being rude to me. I am the judge. I own this court. I can get you kicked out, you know. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man. Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but... When I came to, I was lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit and the body was gone. Oh, okay, so it was after, I guess. And all the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since the person did all that work alone, I had just assumed it was a man. Because women can't do things on their own? That's rather sexist of you, Maya. Sexist against your own gender. Ugh. So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor. No need to apologize. It was as Godot said, you're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a man. Why? Why? Now the judge is sexist. Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination. We literally just had a case where a person was trying to kill other people, has killed like 2 or 3, and you're just like, nah, women can't do that things, it's the guy. So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right? Yes, I think it happened when the victim was stabbed. So was the person that carried you into the temple could have only been the killer. That's what I think too. So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. I don't know. Looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather some more information before I ask her again. The torches were lit? Yes, that's how I noticed that the whole scene had been changed. I'm gonna say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be? The killer probably lit them so it was impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body? That's true. It's hard to see how this would be any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya. Very well. Let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. The snow was removed in a natural-looking rectangle shape around the lantern. There are a lot of shovels around the area in the temple, but they're all really heavy. Way too heavy for me to use. Shovels are not heavy! How weak are you, Maya? I can't even lift up the burgers I eat. An old fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow anyway? Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that the victim sprayed a lot of blood onto the snow? Yeah. The area I collapsed in ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation. Perhaps. However, that's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with the blood on it, there was no need to remove that amount. That's true. He could have scooped up the snow that had been stained with blood. She's caught gloopy, I guess. True. It looks like there was some mysteries behind this issue. But I think this will help explain them. So, you're saying that you never saw the killer, right? Yes, but earlier you clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker. Nick, I'm sorry. The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble, moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. But for what purpose? Why do all of that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. No, really? I think it's this. No, it's not that. My contradictions are false. Yeah. So I was just thinking that, well, if he was so careful, if they were so careful, they would have seen this. But it's red. Maybe I can go back and do it now? The truth is, when I saw... Okay, now it's doing just something different. I felt something. You did? Yes. I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me, for my sake. What? Hiding it for you? Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden, she may have thought that you had done it. No, she definitely would have thought so. And just saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing happened? Yes, I'm sure of it. Well, that's certainly a piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. Maybe now I can show it. Yeah! You were right, it was too early. The body of Alice Onim was carried all the way to the Hazakura Temple courtyard. Then at the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe that all this was done in an attempt to hide the crude crime scene. However, there's still one matter that seems somewhat odd. Oh, and what would that be? You must be have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe the writing off the lantern? Ah, you're right. Order. But, Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene? Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow. Then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody handwriting.
Objection!
If that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it. Again, in a past case, we know that he can't see some things. Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood? The killer didn't notice. Prosecutor Godot, early in this trial you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime had occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were lit all and everything. There's no way any normal person would admit something as glaring as that. You're right. There's no way any normal person would. What? What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? I'm saying the person that did this was abnormal. There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing this bloody writing altogether. And who would that be? Who is the person that could have... Do I really have to show him again? Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I can't see everything. You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot? This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. This lantern, there's something written on it. Why, it's written in blood. Oh, nonsense. This lantern is clean as a whistle. I'm sorry that I have to put on silly voices for that. Miss Godot, just admit it. There's a certain colour you can't see, correct? Or there are certain colours. You can't see red on a white background, can you? Just like me, I can't see some reds on some greens, but I don't have a cool-looking mask. I'm just stupid. That's right, we went through this once before. During the poisoning case at Tribulations. Oh, this is apron is delightfully Miss Bird was wearing at the time, and somehow spilled coffee on it. I like that was the only colour thing in the entire flashback. There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why would you not explain the bloodstain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-coloured stain that's smeared all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup because it was red. Ha! It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters could have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them? So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern? Hey, Gramps, didn't you know? The reason why I don't drink tea. That's the reason why I don't drink red tea. What? You can't see the entire liquid when it's... whatever. I wasn't sure about it until now, but it's just... can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer. But there's no going back now. I have finally figured out the truth. Make the voices stop. Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Melissa Nim, also known as Misty Faye. It's hard to believe this may be true. However, once again, Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you. Huh. Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment right ready, Gramps. Come on, how does a little graffiti make me into the killer? Besides, it's not like my name's written that. That's written there.
Objection!
I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the red colorette. This is rich. Go on, trite. The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow. The snow? How so? Ah, that rhymed. Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Ron, you said it yourself. If you wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not just take out that area? Yes, why did he just take that? Ah, could it be? Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow. So he had to remove all of it. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area.
Objection!
Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? No. Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine. It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Miss Godot? This is the second time I've had to find a prosecutor that actually did the murder. Wait just a minute. Maya. What is it, witness? Miss Godot, it isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the inner temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after the old bridge got fixed up.
Objection!
Maya. You can't testify to something like that. Why? What do you mean? I may not look it, but I'm... After the murder happened, you didn't even exist. She didn't... I'm afraid I don't follow. Are you senile, old man? We established this just a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, that's right. But please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me. Maya, do you plan to cover up for Godot no matter what the cost? At the cost of someone else's life? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear our testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I'd say we should not silence her. Nicely done, trite. Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony that has proven to be unreliable. Please tell us what happened after the inner temple after the murder. Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling. My spirit left me, as it were. But little Pearlie was there at the inner temple, too. Are you going to bring her in on this? On your lies? Don't blaspheme, Pearls. Pearlie was also on the inner temple side that night. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. That next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrives at the inner temple for the first time. He found Pearlie first and cheered her right up. Who is this Pearlie? That's my little cousin, Pearlfay. So when did you hear about this? Oh, just a while ago, when I was in the medical office. I'm terribly sorry. But what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. What? Come on. Pearlie would never lie. She's way more honest a person than I'll ever be. That is not true in the slightest. Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath. Prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness. Mr. Godot? Let's just move on with the cross-examination, if the defense has no objections. This is highly unusual, but, well, Mr. Wright, let's get this cross-examination started. I thought she was going to accuse Pearls of murder. It's like, no, actually, it was Pearls. I care more about this man than I do about my own cousin. So where did you think Pearl slept that night? In the spare prep room next to the training hall, I guess. There's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during an acolyte's training. But even so, why did she go to the inner temple in the first place? It seems that Pearls became very worried about Maya. She knew that the spiritual training was about to go was very intense. Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the inner temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of Listo Nim. She searched the inner temple's side end to end. Well, you see, Pearlie gets pretty scared when she's alone, and there weren't that many places to look. She says that she even went back and forth several times. The inner temple side has two structures, a training hall and a spare prep room. And there's also a storage shack, I think. That's about it. There was a storage shack too. Pearls was looking for other people, right? Would she have actually really examined a storage shack all that carefully? Well, if it was me, that would be the first place I would investigate. So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack. Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge. What do you mean? I was just wondering why she would stay in her prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait at the foot of the bridge. Oh, well, Pearlie said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during that night that she couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times. Poor little girl, all alone like that. Well, we know that she had at least one friend in the Sacred Cavern. Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with the trick lock. She couldn't let anyone see her, so she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls. What happened after the bridge was finally fixed? So it was your first time on the Inner Temple side, Mr. Godot? That's funny. I'm imagining things with the defense asked me a question. Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness. What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor. Touché, Mr. Wright. You have turned my own court against me. I bow to your will. Oh well. What do you have to say, Mr. Godot? Hot nights and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If it hadn't been for this case, I never would have visited there. A freezing cold temple in the mountains. I think I'll pass. So he had never visited the Hazakura temple or the Inner Temple, huh? I want to say something trite. In any case, I have to find a crack in Godot's armor. While I cross-examine Maya, that is. Very well, please go on with the testimony. After fixing the bridge, the policeman came over to the Inner Temple side, right? Yes, then Mr. Godot... He cheered her up. That's what Pearlie said. She said he was a very nice older gentleman. They've looking after my cousin, Miss Godot. And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict. Cut it out. You're making me blush. This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves in more ways than one. The truth is, there wasn't that many places to look on the Inner Temple side. The police were all busy going over the garden with a fine-tooth comb. So I decided to carry out an investigation my own way, Godot style. I'm the same way. I like to hand down verdicts in my own way, judge style. Maybe I should add some Phoenix-style questions. I'm gonna just save. I'll ask about cheering Pearls up. So you cheered Pearls up? When I found that little girl, the first thing she asked me about was her cousin, Maya Fey. Really? The bridge had burned down and she was huddled up in that tiny shack with no heat. Even though she must have had a truly terrifying night out there. She asked about you before she said anything about herself. But Pearlie, I noticed that you weren't anywhere on the Inner Temple side, but I couldn't find it in me to tell her that. So I gave her my last cup. With milk and sugar to hide the bitterness of the harsh truth. What a sweet story. He had a thermos of coffee? Why doesn't that surprise me? There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? He must have already been inside the Inner Temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed at least on him. I need to ask the second one. Skip. Stop doing animations and get to the point. Investigation. You said that you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything? Looks like my investigation went all about as well as yours, trite. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern. Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles. The only thing I did discover was a beauty in the training hall. Beauty? Misty Fey, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by Hugh and a rower of Western tastes. Western tastes? Could you find a stranger way to describe gravy? So from there you headed for the prep room? Wait a sec, did Godot just say that? What did Godot just say right now? I think I just found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance. Blah, 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 blah. So do I present the scroll here, or do I do something else? I'm going to present the scroll and see what happens, because that's the only thing that came up. No. Oh, whoops. Get out of that. What do I do here? Start from the beginning. Stuck on the inner temple side that night. That's true. Next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. Also true. Next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's where Miss Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time. Right. She found Purdy first and cheered her right up. Do I press on it again, or do I... what? When in doubt, press. But I did press. I pressed on everything. I'll press again.
Hold it.
Guess cheering. This cup. Boost. Maybe I need to press on other things. I mean, I guess I could press on the Godot investigation again. Here we go, go through all this again. Find anything? Handwriting, speak for yourself, blah, 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 beauty, Misty Faye naturally, kind of stunning Japanese garb surrounded by Western hues. You find strange ways to describe gravy. What did you say just now? I think I found a proverbial weak spot. Again, it just says the same thing again. It's not that. Right. I already presented the scroll. That's the issue. Because that was the first thing I presented, and it was like, no, that's not the answer. Oh, God damn it. 1 second, I got something stuck on me. Okay. It's alright. I guess I show it here. Oh, okay, I guess I show that there. Miss Godot, the first time you crossed Dusky Bridge and went into the Inner Temple was long before the murder took place. Why do you say that? Because he just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the trading hall. Hanging scroll? But Mr. Godot was right. That scroll shows a picture of my mother. Maya, I know you know who it is, but there's something you don't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired, 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the trading hall looked like this. What is that wonderfully delicious smell? It's a picture! How can you smell the picture? The morning after the crime, someone covered it in gravy. Gravy? But why gravy, Nick? Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Miss Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that it was Misty Faye. Oh, wait a minute, Nick. Yes? Take another look at the hanging scroll. Look at the top there, there's a crest there. Ah, that. It's the mark of the master, correct? Exactly. So if you know the meaning of the mark, then you could guess it was a picture of Misty Faye out there. True, but Miss Godot described what was underneath like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by a hue and aroma of Western tastes. Oh. It's possible. Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. But, however, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding in the Inner Temple long before the crime took place. Can I ask you one thing, little thing, trite? What is it? The whole theory of yours. All rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that a crime was going to be committed. That's right. Otherwise, there was no reason for him to sneak out into the crime scene. Of course, Mr. Godot knew about the plan. Huh? What did you say? Is it really possible that another person knew of that plan? Well, we know that this was open before. Yeah, once open before. This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future, and these instructions were hidden somewhere in the Fay Manor for a year. However, by the time Little Pearls found these instructions, they had already been unsealed. Unsealed? Yes, the killer had read these instructions long before the Pearls ever found them. That's how he knew that the crime was going to take place in the Inner Temple. You still insist this crafty killer is me. You bet I do. But you just said that the instructions were hidden. That's right. Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden. If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out. Yes, and when was that? During a visit. A visit? Morgan Fay told her daughter Pearl about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden. Eavesdropping on a visit at the detention center? Yes, it could be arranged if you were someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Godot. Order. Mr. Godot, you're under fire again. This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge. And you were the only one who could have acquired this information before the murder. Humans are afraid of the dark, and yet at the same time we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coffee. Sorry for always asking, what does that mean? It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, he hid the Inner Temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all that just to protect this witness? That's right. If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. Of got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. I am what you see. I am certain of the type to rescue the damsel in distress. Killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for the lack of a better word. Even considering that the killer wanted to protect this witness's life, his behavior is still a little too unnatural. However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs. I knew it. You figured it out, haven't you, Nick? No! I haven't figured out nothing! Maya, I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godot. For the same reason, huh? Okay, trite. All ears. Let's hear it. It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you. What's this? There's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. One person that ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably. There's a very good reason for why Maya's Fey is life is so precious to you. After all, she is Mia Fey's only sister. Mia Fey. You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney. Wait a second here. Miss Godot is a defense attorney? With your honor-piercing intellect, with your honors piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot, his real name is Diego Armando, isn't that right? The last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago. Diego Armando? That name rings a bell. It should, Your Honor. All of this is related to a single case. A case in which a convict named Terry Falls killed himself. Mia Fey's first time in court, the tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming demoness in disguise. But in the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to help her. Diego Armando, a senior defense attorney at the office where Mia worked. It's my fault. It's my fault that Mr. Falls killed himself. You can't cry yet. And they did a cool thing by shattering his cup. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. Was moved by her. The way she put all her faith in her clients, that pure, sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Mia and I thoroughly investigated that fake kidnapping incident. Then one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It had been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria. I just remembered, 6 years ago, right in this courthouse, you were poisoned. Even I didn't see it coming. Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee. Some newspaper at the time called it a murder, but very little information about the case was released to the press. But you weren't dead at all. No official reports ever actually called it a murder. I was just in a deep, deep coma. I see. My body shut down and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. I don't know if it's just my mind not remembering it properly, but I really thought he was he was dead. Like he was actually a ghost that had come back. But I guess that was just younger me being, like, seeing what I wanted to see at that time. Unless they changed it. The body shut down and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman's poison did a real number on my central nervous system. I lost my sight, and all of my hair turned white due to the damage it caused. That's terrible. Apparently it was a miracle that I even regained consciousness. 5 years had passed since I drank that poison brew. And that's why I talk like this now. He was always in a coma? Okay. Then that was just me making things up to make it more cool. And one morning my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. 5 years? You were asleep for 5 years? The worst possible news was waiting for me. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I had already lost everything I had thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered, and the woman I loathed had been sentenced to death. The woman you loathed? The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee, Dahlia Hawthorne. Ha! Good old Mia. She didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up. That's so sad. For someone like me, for someone who had slept away their best days, there was only 2 reasons left to live. And it was for those 2 reasons that I decided to become a prosecutor. Let me ask, what were your 2 reasons to live? The first was you, trite. Huh? Me? If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey never would have died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her. But you let her die. It was all your fault. It wasn't like that. I wanted to see for myself what kind of man you really were. So that's why you became a prosecutor? My other reason for living, she goes by the name of Maya Fey. Huh? You mean me? It was the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia. I like the song. 1 year ago, the Crane Village incident was resolved. It was obvious that Morgan was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. Her role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her. That's how you overheard Pearl's visit with Morgan at the detention center. I knew that the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from being caught up in it. That makes sense. I think this was an Ace Attorney one. I think so. I remember something like that. If Pearls had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she never would have helped out. Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near. I contacted both of my accomplices. Accomplices? Iris of Hazakura Temple and Misty Faye. I especially needed the help of Iris. She was to take the fall in my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl Faye. But how did you contact my mother? She'd been missing for almost 20 years. I just know where she was. We were married. I am your father. Officially, yes. What? What do you mean, officially? You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government. Now that you mention it, Bikini did say something to that effect. She said that the Master of the Crane had great authority. Even without her official position, Misty Faye still wielded great influence. The police have been keeping an eye on her movements all this time, and just refused to tell that family about it. That's how I was able to contact her. Again, because of my position as a prosecutor. So my mother was cooperating with you? Don't ever forget, no matter how far away she was from you, she never stopped thinking about you. She was always... Plot convenience, that's how, yeah. That's why I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was, look at her staff. Her staff? The one with the sword in it? The day that plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. We met for the first time at Hazakura Temple. That's when your mother showed me her special staff. I realized it then, just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fay if necessary. Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price. Mother. That night, the night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan. You mean Pearls, don't you? We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne. Well, Pearls, what are you going to do tonight? Well, if you'd like, you can come to my room. Perhaps we can read some books together. Completely destroying the tone, but yes. We thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan. But she never showed up. She was worried and followed me to the inner temple. That was the thing we were most afraid of. And that's why Misty Faye had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body. What? What do you mean? If she channeled the spirit first, then Pearls wouldn't be able to do it herself. As Master of Kurain, Misty Faye's power was supreme. Just like a chicken supreme. That's how it went down. She claimed Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Flame would be able to. What? Is this true? My role in the plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya. That's why I hid myself at the inner temple. Just in case you needed to be saved from Dahlia Hawthorne. But oh. Anyway, that's all I'm going to admit to, Trite. Huh? There's no doubt about it, you're a great defense attorney. But you're going to have to do the rest yourself. The background leading up to this incident has been laid bare. There's just one question remained, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only two possible suspects right now. Maya Fey, and I'm sad to say, you, Mr. Godot. Well, Trite, if you're the real deal, then finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can finish your own. Finish this on your own. No, Nick, please don't. Maya, I heard the whole thing from my sister in the medical office. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godot. I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia and me too. Maya, I know that. Nick. But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify. Miss Faye, your testimony, please. This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because I'll know. I want you to hear the truth from your own lips. I understand. Sad to say, Mr. Godot, but fine was saying Maya or Kit Faye killed her mother. I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick. All right, young lady, tell us about the moments before you lost consciousness. We're still going. Can we finish soon? This has been a lot longer than I thought it would be. What happened on the day of the murder? Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights, 3 of them. I thought I'd asked for help, but just when I was splattered with blood. She wasn't dead, though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Suddenly, the lights went out and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. Right after that, Dahlia collapsed and I lost consciousness. These red lights, I thought you said you didn't remember seeing them. I'm sorry. I thought I saw them, but then they disappeared all of a sudden. Things break, Trite. Even the best of theories. Who was it that stabbed Misty Faye? Looks like you still can't prove it. Maya's telling the truth this time, I know it. But the rest is up to me. Or the rest is up to me. Well then, Mr. Wright, please proceed with your your final cross-examination of the witness. I hope it is. Because I need to end this soon, otherwise I'm not having dinner today. Do a save. Light shining in the dark. I don't think you could make a mistake about that. Yeah, you're right. I think I saw them, but I can't say for certain. I can't tell you for sure that they were from Godot's mask either. I don't get the feeling she's covering for him anymore. But just after that, you turned them towards the lights and called out for help? Isn't that because you thought the lights were coming from Mr. Godot's mask? Yeah, I guess so. Maybe that's why I was thinking at the time. But I can't remember after all. Oh, I can't remember. After all, there was a person I couldn't identify in front of me. Maya's life was in terrible danger at the time. There's no way she can remember the details of the scene perfectly. Alright, let's continue with the testimony. What did you do when you saw the lights? That blood, was it Dahlia Hawthorne's? I think so, probably. Just at that moment, I heard a soft scream that seemed to be close by. It was a woman's voice. So that was when the victim stabbed the killer stabbed the victim from behind at the murder weapon. Is that right? Without a doubt, Maya was in the middle of a really dangerous situation. Anyway, the victim was stabbed by the murder weapon. What happened after that? Struck back? How do you know that? Well, you're right, I didn't actually see it. But I could tell by the sounds of their breathing and movement. And also the smell of blood. You have witnessed more horror than any young lady should have ever have to in one life. So then, what do you do at that point? I couldn't move. I could just barely make out their shadows moving in the dark, but I had no idea what to do. Could you still see the red lights from you mentioned earlier? Yes, I think so. But suddenly the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. They went out? Yes, suddenly I couldn't see them at all. What could it mean? The red lights were coming from Godot's mask, and they went out right in the middle of the fight. Maybe the mask was damaged? Or maybe it was knocked off? Or maybe the batteries ran out. Right, trite. Or maybe those little red light, pinhead-looking lights just stopped working. What could have really happened then?
Hold it!
What do you mean by just a moment? Or just at that moment? Do you mean the moment the red lights went out? Yes, that's right. The scream that you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was a man's voice. What? So then, that scream came from the killer? It's gotta be it. I think Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it. And then the killer let out a scream of pain, huh? After that, the killer stole the blade back and delivered the final blow, I guess. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems to make sense to me. It sounds like a reasonable deduction, but it's still kind of wonder. I'm sorry to say this, but that interpretation would create an enormous contradiction. It makes sense. After all, my deductions are almost certainly never correct. At least he has self-awareness. Remember the testimony she gave before the killer let out a scream? Maya said she had already been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade and the staff had already been plunged into the victim. Ah, is that right? She couldn't have struck her back with a sword that was already stuck in her body. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff. If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting any longer, trite. There's only one thing that I can think of that could have been used as the weapon here. If Dahlia Hawthorne had already been stabbed in the back by the staff, what could have caused to track back the killer? The dagger!
Take that!
Naturally, the dagger the killer brought to the scene of the crime. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. The dagger was found at the crime scene stuck into a pine tree. Yes, the detective found it that morning and brought it to me. Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this, and she managed to wound him as well.
Objection!
Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean that he was wounded. For all we know, the blood from the dagger could have been from the victim.
Objection!
Did you already forget, Godot? Yeah, have you forgotten the blood that was already been tested? Since we learned it wasn't the victim's blood, it must be the killer's blood. The killer must have a wound on their body somewhere. So you're saying the blood on this dagger belongs to the killer? Exactly. A DNA analysis of the blood would prove it beyond a shadow of doubt. And yes, Mr. Godot, it would prove that it's your blood. Nice theory, trite. Order in the court. Is this the end? Have I done it? Even he won't be able to change the results of a scientific test. Let me ask you something, trite. Let's just say that it turned out that I was the killer. Do you really think I would be stupid enough to leave evidence like that? What? Just think for a second. This dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought to me. There was already blood on it, correct? But even so, there was one brought this evidence, something I skipped by accident. Yes, what does that prove? Well, if I really were the killer, I could have washed the blade off and then splattered another person's blood on it. It can't be. In any case, there's one thing I can guarantee, trite. That blood doesn't belong to me. Not a chance. What? In any event, it seems to be established that the killer was wounded. All right, then witness, continue testimony. Wait a minute. What's the problem? I know I probably shouldn't say this, but there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation. Maya? This dagger, you said it wounded the killer. That's right. But, if Mr. Godot had been cut with this dagger, his clothes should be bloody or have a rip in them, right? Maya? Maybe he just changed his clothes? That'd solve the contradiction pretty easily. What are you talking about? It's not as simple as that. Go back to the day of the murder. Everyone that was on the inner temple side got trapped there. That's right. Maya being smart for a change. And once the bridge was fixed and the police headed to the inner temple, Mr. Godot was already there waiting for them. He never had a chance to change his clothes. Order in the court. What the witness is saying is, well, maybe he brought a change of clothes with him. But no one could have predicted the lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Why would anyone have brought a change of clothes? Did the judge just take smart pills during the last recess? Well then, maybe the killer took off the clothes before he committed the murder. He was naked during the murder, yes. That way he couldn't get any blood on him.
Objection!
That's impossible, Trite. You know how cold it gets up there late at night. Eh? After a few minutes with no clothes on, you'd be frozen solid. Come on, Nick. What's wrong with you? Have you taken stupid pills? Huh. So that's what you've got. I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this. Right now, if Maya Fey were here, or Mia, she would have closed the book on this case already. If Mia Fey were here, so come on, Trek, can you do it or not? How about it, Mr. Wright? You've accused Mr. Godot of being the killer, but can you prove it? Have you got even one piece of evidence? The question isn't whether I can prove it or not. The fact is, I have to prove it. That's the only choice I have. I have to. I was taught that it's one of the rules of being a lawyer. I can prove it. Just gonna do a little save here. I'm gonna bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition just as you want it. Oh, we got the original song back. Huh, that's good. Right until the bitty end, Trite. The original song is back, yeah! It's a different kind of song though, it's slightly different. Since there's just one piece of evidence that can prove your point, why don't we go for the ultimate limited penalty? Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? Because it doesn't matter what to me, I've got the one piece of evidence I need. Give me a break. You've got nothing, Trite. So what I do at a time like this? It's simple, I've got to think outside the box and approach this from a different angle. I don't know why I'm getting really hyped. Stupid song, stupid moment. Alright then, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you got. There's one thing I've demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. That was proven by the blood on the dagger. But we decided it's impossible for him to have hidden such a wound. If he had cut a dagger, there would have been bloodstain on his clothing. There's one place the killer could have hidden his wound. What did you say? Hidden? This is it, my last chance. I need to think about this from a different angle. I don't need to think about why there's no bloodstains on his clothing. I need to show how he hit the wound. It's the end of the line. The final stop, Trite. Let's hear what you've got. Where's this location the killer said hit this wound? Do I actually show like a picture of him or something? I guess I just show his face. I don't know what you're talking about. Frankly, I don't need to know. What I do know is that you know would be half the lawyer she was. Isn't that right, Trite? Oh. What was that just now? We switched over to Godot, I guess. Mia? It can't be. You're living on through him. Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. It's beneath your mask. I'm sorry, that was just so cool. He's charging up his finger. During the fight, the red lights given off by the killer suddenly disappeared. Seconds later, the killer let out a scream. That's right, your mask went flying off your face. Miss Godot, would you mind removing your mask? If you hadn't a dagger wound under there somewhere, then I'd say this whole case is solved. Just now. There's an audio file of them both objecting with reverb, but they removed it. No way! That would be... Oh, man, that would have been so cool. Ah. I saw her spirit in you. I never liked you. 6 years ago, you helped the woman who put me to sleep by hiding a bottle of poison. Then, while I was sleeping, you let Mia die. But you didn't care. You just kept living your pathetic, happy-go-lucky life. You even had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer. I could never forgive you. That's what I thought. Mr. Godot. But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. The truth is, the only person I could never find it in their heart to forgive me, or to forgive, was me. You? Yourself? I was the one that failed to protect Mia. Me and no one else. I tried to avert my eyes from the truth, to escape from the harshness of reality. I just couldn't face Mia's death head-on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask. I threw him in my true name. I couldn't even deal with being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit. But you saved Maya. Yeah, that was my plan. Up until just now, anyway. What do you mean? Are you listening, Maya? If I had really wanted to save you, then there's one person that I should have gone and talked to right away. Who would that be? You talking about Nick? But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother. But I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. Do you know why? The real reason? No, why? I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all. Huh? I think I was just trying to salvage what's left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia. Nothing more. That's why I let you walk right into a situation that I knew was dangerous. Forgive me. You're wrong. You put your life on the line to save Maya. Was it really for Maya's sake? Even I'm not really sure. What do you mean by that? That night, in the darkness of the garden when I saw her silhouette. A part of me must have known the truth. The truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing here in front of me. It could have been Misty Faye, or even that little girl. But I still picked up the blade. It was like I was dreaming. True, he could have killed a little girl by doing that. I'm not sure exactly what was going on in my mind by that point. Was I really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya Faye? Or was it something else? Was it my hatred for a woman who had stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Could it have been simply a desire for revenge? And now, I don't know anything anymore. I did learn something today, however. I finally realized that I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy. stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from Mia's death. Instead, you picked up where she left off, as a true defender of the people. In that one moment, I understood everything. Mr. Godot. I'm gonna have to look up that combined voice at some point after this. I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando. Mr. Armando, I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me. Thanks. Your wound is bleeding. Ah, did you forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist. These must be my tears. Tears? Ever since I woke up in from my coma, I think I've been waiting for this very moment. But Mr. Armando, you do well to remember this, Maya. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. Ha! It's on YouTube. Yeah, I'll definitely look it up. This time, it really is all over, isn't it? Defendant. Yes, Your Honor? Although you weren't directly involved in the murder, tampering with the body in the crime scene is a serious offense in itself. I understand, Your Honor. Mr. Armando explained that to me very carefully. I knew the risk and I really incorporated anyway. Very well. Before I hand out my verdict, is there anything you'd like to say? Well, there is one thing. I'd like to say something to Mr. Wright. I want to apologize to you. Apologize? To me? For what? For the case 5 years ago, of course. I just remembered. Weren't you poisoned by your own lover? Not exactly, but yeah, something like that. Even now, 5 years later, I can hardly believe it. She was going to do it. She was planning to kill me. It's not all that surprising. Two of you hardly knew each other. Huh? What do you mean? You and my sister, you only met twice. Huh? You only met twice? The first time you met was on the fateful day. The day she was poisoned by Mr. Armando in the cafeteria in this very courtroom. The next time you met was 8 months later. You met her again on the day she stole your cold medicine. And Dog Swallow was killed. No way. It can't be true. I mean, during our whole relationship, we were... For those 8 months, the woman that you thought was Dahlia Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister. Huh? It wasn't Dahlia. I hope one day you can forgive me, Feeny. You mean... That's right. I lied to you for 8 months. But why? Why would you do such a thing? Ever since she gave you the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she possibly could. Because of the police investigation and their surveillance. She couldn't move about freely. So that's why you... My sister, from the very beginning, she was prepared for the worst. Prepared for the worst? She thought that you might somehow discover the truth. That's why she was always ready to deal with you at a moment's notice. You mean she was ready to kill me, don't you? She already had so much to answer for, I didn't want any more sins on her soul. I begged her not to do it, and she agreed to give me a chance. And that's why you came to me? You came to get the bottle, pendant back from me in her place. But I couldn't get you to give it back. I failed at something even as simple as that. 8 months passed and I still couldn't get it back from you. Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. She didn't consult me about her plans for you that day. It was the first time that had ever happened. That was a bit strange, wasn't it? Up until that day, you two were partners in crime and she would confer with you. I think she must have noticed... Noticed what? My feelings for you. If I had found out she was planning to kill you, I would have done whatever was necessary to stop her. Even if it meant her life or mine. Iris. After spending those 8 months by your side, my feelings towards you, they changed. I have something to say to you, too. Yes? You really are the person I always thought you were. Okay, Phoenix. Why did that hit me? Even after Dolly was found guilty, I still believed in you. Thank you. Stupid game. Everything else was fine. It was just that one moment with stupid fucking. How many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? Even I don't know. I'll tell you though. Right now, this one here is the greatest cup I think I've ever had. Don't you think so, Phoenix Wright? Oh, he's drinking now. There's a different Sprite. Yeah, I think you're right. The purpose of this trial was... I was half expecting the judge to have a cup of coffee as well. The purpose of this trial was to rule the murder of the victim least on him. At some point, I expect you to be tried for your role as an accomplice in this case. I understand, Your Honor. Very well. On the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant not guilty. Court is now adjourned. Damn it. She's probably still going to go to prison. Maybe, I don't know what the, I know that the one for, like, being an accomplice is still, like, a few years in prison, but I don't know if it's different depending on where you are. Like in Japan, it might be like, oh, so it's over. It might be just like, oh no, you get executed still. Was justice really served? The man who risked his life to save Maya has been sent to prison by my own hand. Of course justice was served. No confetti? Mia! I'm proud of you, Phoenix. Your defense was truly brilliant. But I couldn't save Mr. Armando. The man who cared so deeply for you. You're wrong, Phoenix. You did save Diego. You saved him in the only way possible. You mean, with the verdict? I think one day you'll understand too. Phoenix, I want you to remember one thing. You were as good out there today as any defense attorney could ever hope to be. Yay! I actually proved myself worthy. Even though I've done that multiple times, there's nothing more you can learn from me. Mia, you've accomplished something that I wasn't able to. I owe you a great deal. Thank you. Now, please, don't come back. I appreciate Mia and all that. Just stop coming in and steal my thunder. Let me do my job. Mia, I'm sure we'll meet again someday, Phoenix. I've handled a lot of cases and seen a lot of things. Well, and along this journey, I found myself asking just one question. What does it really mean to defend someone? You'll be homeless in 6 months because Mia Fey's not there. Yeah. I suppose today's case produced one possible answer. Nick. Maya. I guess it's just like my sis said. Yeah? What did she say? That night when I channeled Mia to get her advice on what to do, this is what she wrote back in my notebook. Don't worry, Phoenix will save everyone in the end. Everyone has faith in me. But, come on, cut it out with that gloomy face. Don't you see? Me, sis, and I'm sure Iris too. We owe you for everything you've done for us, Nick. Maya, how? How can you be so bright and chipper after all that's happened? You haven't eaten for 2 days. You were brutally attacked. You even saw your mother murdered. Ouch! Francisca. Still as softly as ever, Phoenix Wright. Oh, Edgeworth here too. Excellent word, Phoenix. All right. Huh? Mr. Edgeworth? When did you get back? Oh, that's right. I guess no one filled her in on that. Edgeworth and Francisca have actually been helping me. Helping you? If these two hadn't been there on the first day of the trial, we would never have had a cool scene. The defense wouldn't have been gotten anywhere. Wow. But where were you, Nick? I heard he fell into the river and was caught on a nasty cold which forced him to sleep all day. Yes, he laid in bed shivering from his fever while Iris' hood pulled over his head. Oh, ouch. Talk about embarrassing, Nick. You definitely need more training. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. And you too, Franziska? I don't suppose... Oh, it's you. There's room for me in this group hug, is there? Oh, Larry! What's with the, longer than usual face? I realized something when I was reborn. I realized that Larry was never of use to anyone, not even once. But that's not true, right, Nick? I'm gonna have to present something, aren't I? Franziska, the highlight of everything. Yeah, pretty much. What? You're asking me? Well, Nick, is it true? I've got a place in this world, right? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I know it. Everyone would be better off if I was gone for good. No. Oh yeah. Those portraits you painted, they were really good. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? What? Me? Why are you making that face, huh, Reggie? Oh, well, yes, indeed. I can certainly say they lack resemblance. Or that they lack resemblance. Do you really mean it? What about you, Franzi? Did I draw you well, too? My beauty cannot possibly be captured by a mere crayon. Nevertheless, I recognize the efforts you put into it, and that's worth something. So you'll do it? So then you'll do it, like you promised? You're gonna model for my next... Don't get carried away. Well, how about that? I guess painting portraits is the only good thing I'm good at. Painting of pearls was pretty damn good, too, if you ask me. Huh? Now that you mention it, I haven't seen her around. Pearls. Where could she have gone? Well, she was just channeling Mia. Normally she would have made a beeline for Maya. Oh, I'll go look for her. Be right back. Hey, Pearly. Right. You seem to be uncharacteristically puzzled. I suspect you were wondering how Maya could be so cheerful despite all that has happened. Yeah. But to be honest, I can't understand it either. Franziska. That's right, she lost her father fairly recently as well. I think I understand how she feels. Maya is a much wiser person than she appears, and I think she realizes something. Now is exactly the time when she needs to be as strong as she can. What do you mean by now is exactly the time? Maya wasn't the only one who was badly wounded by this incident. In fact, there was someone that was hurt far more deeply than she. I believe it's for the best. For that person that Maya's trying her best not to cry. Someone who was hurt more deeply than Maya? Edgeworth, I think I'm starting to understand too. Ow! Then tell me, Phoenix Wright. Who is Maya Fey being strong for? Quite obvious. Pearl Fey. The poor kid, after all. The reason that she worked so hard to follow the instructions was because she loved and believed in her mother, Morgan. It's for the good of the Fey clan. I'm sure she believed in every last word. He thought she was doing it for Maya. That's why she was so happy. It shows how truly devoted she is to Maya. And then she tried to kill her. Unwittingly. But it's a cruel irony that it was her exuberance that led to this tragedy. Maya Fey's mother was killed. And Maya herself was put into the deepest peril imaginable. And that's exactly why Maya is putting on a brave face. She's doing it for Pearls' sake, until she can see her smile again. Oh, hey! So this is where you all were. Oh, look at the— Ow! What was that for, sir? Sorry about that, Scruffy. My whip seems to have a mind of its own. What's up, Detective Gumshoe? Oh, you know, this and that. Anyway, congrats on your win. Let's go tonight, pal. Dinner's on me. My salary's just sort of kind of gone down with a teeny-weeny bit, but it's alright. I've made reservations at a first-class French restaurant tonight. Oh, God. Please don't be the cafe. Ah! A pretty good work, Scruffy. That whip was your reward. Okay. She punishes with the whip and rewards with the whip. Got it. Detective Gumshoe, you said first-class French restaurant. You don't mean Très bien, where else? I knew it. We're doomed. Come on, let's go, everyone. Can't keep Maggie waiting, pal. Hey, you, crybaby, you're invited too. Oh, forget about me. Pearl and I will be at the loser's shack eating potatoes. You know, Maya's taken an awfully long time to get back. She's still out looking for pearls. Oh, Maya, what's wrong? Nick, what do I do? Pearlie, I can't find her anywhere. Huh? I bet she just went back home. That's all. I thought so too, so I called the village. You're telling me she walked all the way from the courthouse to the outskirts of the city to a random village? I mean, she did that before, but still. No one's heard from her. This has never happened before. It's just that's a short time frame to come from channeling Mia to suddenly all the way in the village. As I figured, she's been badly hurt by this incident. She feels responsible for the tragedy that has befallen you, Maya. But none of this was her fault. Well, what should I do? Detective Gumshoe. Yeah, what is it, pal? Could you guys go on ahead? But what about you? Maya and I we'll join you guys once we find pearls. Nick. Don't worry about us, Detective Gumshoe. We may be a little late, but we'll definitely be there. We have a lot of celebrating to do tonight, and I wouldn't want to miss it for the world. Yeah, but you're the... Very well, Phoenix Wright. We'll go on ahead. Don't keep us waiting, right? I didn't get a chance to read that. But fine, interrupt me, Maya. But where would we look? Where would Pearlie have gone? Oh my god. Did they plan to write Pearls out here in the original script? It would be. Let's go, Maya. There's only one place I can think of that Pearls might have gone to. Really? Back here? Asagura Temple. For Pearls, I bet this is a very important place. After all, it's where this whole incident started. What's this? You're back again so soon? Sister Bikini? I thought we were eating mashed potatoes all alone tonight. So she's here. Pearlie's here? She's in the trading hall. Why don't you hurry along and go see her? Okay. Pearlie's not here. Ah, Maya, the hanging scroll. Someone cleaned it off. It's got to be Pearls. Mystic Maya. Pearlie. Why? Why did you just leave like that? Mystic Maya. Mystic Maya! I swore that I would never trouble the two of you again. Because it's all my fault, that Mystic Maya's mother. That's why you came here. It's the least I could do to pray for your happiness. You don't have to do that, Pearlie. It wasn't your fault, you didn't do anything wrong. Of course, I'm sad that my mother is gone, but how do I say this? I'm still happy. You don't have to lie to make me just feel better. No, really, it's true. The only reason I'm still here is all thanks to everyone who was there for me. My sis, my mother, Mr. Armando, Nick, and you. If even one of you weren't there, I'm sure I wouldn't be able to be alive right now. That's why I have to be strong. For all the people that were there for me when I needed them. That's all I can do, really. Mystic Maya. I'm impressed. You truly are the daughter of Mystic Misty. Sister Bikini. Your mother, Mystic Misty, was indeed a strong woman. I want to tell you what she said to me that night. I've forgotten what her original voice was, so I'm just going to do normal. It's like, after dishonoring the good name of Karain, I didn't have the right to face my daughter. But still, Maya is always in my thoughts. It's true, she may always be with me until the day I die. I don't know how I feel about Wright x Maya. I get why people ship them together, but I always see them as older siblings, as older and younger siblings. I mean, yeah, I can see that too. If anything, I actually push him and Iris more. Purely because Iris actually does have feelings for him, and he had feelings for her originally. Your spirit was with her. That's why your mother was so strong. Even at the end, I'm sure she had no regrets. She'll always be with me until the day I die, huh? There's a rule or something that all masters are to follow, isn't there? To never take the charm off until the day you die? That's the master's talisman. The thing that Misty kept up by her heart and would never take off. It wasn't the container that was important, rather it was the contents. That's... a photo? The... Mother. It's only natural for living creatures to fight to protect their own lives. But what makes us human is that we fight for others. But who do you fight for? How hard must you fight? That's the true measure of what a human life is worth. We defense attorneys are warriors. Okay, pushing a bit too far there. We're warriors who are constantly challenged by that question. Oh, it's young Maya and Mia. And they also broke the pot. Even when the battle is over, the bonds that connect us are severed. We always return time and again. Mia, Maya, Pearls, Mr. Armando, and Maya's mother too. I learned that from all of them. Well, shall we get going? Everyone is waiting. This is a day to remember, a day when a lot of things were finally put to rest. I think we should celebrate what we've overcome today. But I still can't. Oh, go on, sweetie. You can have come back in for training anytime. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna make a brand new start, too. Sister Bikini, I'll be back for more training, I promise. I know. And I won't go easy on you just because you're the future master. I'll make sure to prepare a reservation for 3 when you come back. Alright. We're gonna have a great feast today, Pearly. You know, because training is a part of battle endurance. Okay, Mystic Maya, I'll eat lots and lots of food tonight. You know, there's one thing I don't get, and probably I don't want to, but... What is it, Nick? Reservation for training is fine and all, but why for 3? Come on, what do you think? You're one of us, Nick. Next time you come, you can train right alongside us. Wow, okay. I guess I'm going to start training my spiritual powers. Finally. Huh? I'll be waiting for you. This bikini will take a special pair of you. Oh, I don't like that. Huh? Huh? It'll be great, Nick. We're going to do the special course naturally. Huh? 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 That's a great idea. After all, Mr. Nick, you'd do anything for Mystic Maya, wouldn't you? Even walk on hot coals, right? We'll have a nice big meal before next time. Right, Nick? You know, I was wondering if I can say just one little thing. Sure, of course you can. Oh, I love this part. I can't wait to hear it. I'm getting goosebumps too. Well then, here goes nothing. Objection! I actually said it this time. I joined in. Oh, and there we go. The end of Trials and Tribulations. I'll really have to work extra hard now. Master Crane and the officer manager of Bright and Clow law offices. And I have to be a good big sister to Pearly and Nick too. Well, as long as I'm not locked up or captured or something like that again. Like the 4th time. Right has powers, yeah. So it's true, Mr. Nick really is Mystic Maya's knight in shining armor. He went through all the special course and all the way to the end. Actually, I heard there's a legendary extra special ultra course here too. I think I'll surprise the 2 of them by making them a secret reservation. Right. Local 2 girls die from food poisoning. Yeah. He changed his coat. Maggie bought me a brand new coat as a present, pal. I feel 10 years younger. I'll never take it off. And then they got together. Yes, but somehow you still don't see the same. I guess a dirty, shabby old overcoat is just more detective-like, sir. Don't worry about it. I'm in the name of love, a man will soil himself silly. I need to know that. Ooh, that guitar. Hey! Mr. Wright, I'm once again in your debt. Thanks to you, the Treasures of Crane exhibit was a great success. I even got to see Miss Von Karma, who I hadn't seen for almost a year. She taught me how to use a whip and said that I must show you what I've learned. Oh, God. Sure. Great game, although some of the character assassinations in this game are plain bizarre. Yeah. I forgot what you were. It was like, Desi and I started a company called Master Masks Clothing. We're dedicated to stopping the evil plans of the criminals in the city. Our motto is, cut it out, please! Pretty cute, huh? Well, we also sell plans to the criminals as a kind of side business. I wonder if that's okay. Sometimes I think maybe we're the worst criminals. Still love you, AA. Yeah. I wanted to show my appreciation to Mr. Wright for exterminating Don Tigre. So I lent him 500,000 and a tea set. A special thick tea, one that I mixed with my own two hands. I bet he's drinking it now. Win through compromise. Okay, you're still creepy. I still don't understand that outfit. Like, it seems as though that Japan seems to use that outfit a lot for the weird characters. I'm just all in the way. A wicked, grumpy, clown-nosed race of flesh. At least that's what I thought. But my grandkids have a birthday party for me the other day. Talk about embarrassing. 69 years old and I cried like a baby with a dirty diaper. As usual, we have an abundance of work to do. We hired a new programmer to replace Elglen Elg. I do hope everyone will get along. His name is Adam Mada. As soon as I heard his name, I knew our brain circuits would align perfectly. Okay. Adam Mada. I'm trying to find out what the suit, the thing for that is. My, more reporters. Since the murder, we've made so much money I hardly know what to do. I think the magazines like us because I provide such a nice visual, especially in spring. I can hardly wait for Iris to come back. Wow, so you're literally saying because of the murder you're earning more money and I guess you're happy about that. His name can be said in reverse. I can't remember it already. You sounded such a respectable man, Feeny. It was so sweet of you and everyone else to come and visit me the other day. Of course, I was happy that you constantly had your eyes on me, but I felt kind of bad when the little one slapped you so hard you got a nosebleed. Oh, God. It's like, no, bad Phoenix.
Objection!
Yeah. Ben Groman Judd. Actually show the person that voiced them? Cool.
Objection!
Sion King. Is that Shion or Sean?
Objection!
Christina Catano. I think it's the first time I'm actually showing the voice actors. I don't know if they've done it before, I just not noticed. Godot, James C. Wilson.
Objection!
There she is. Von Kammer, Janet Sue, or Sue. Maybe a silent H. Oh, God. I hope I never have to voice you again. David Crislip. Oh, no. Oh, no. What's this? I'm back in front of a long and tiring vacation and no one here to greet me? I guess while I was gone, my little whippersnapper buddy quit and now I've got no one. And what kind of lonely, crazy security room is this supposed to be anyway? What with all the flashing lights and the switches, I feel like some sort of space alien. And now what am I going to do with all these macadamia nuts I brought back for everyone? I bring out Taiju. I know what he'd be in sorry to install them. He's like, I can't really accept these. I'm afraid of something that's afraid of the Har, oh, well, a gentleman with a freaked old lady. Oh, my God. Mispronounced Sue. Yeah, I thought so. Apparently sounds something I'll have to do. Francie's whippity-whip trip is going to turn the art world on its head. I should have realized it sooner. Self-centered, lazy, antisocial. I'm an artist. A real good portrait artist. I'm not a loser after all. Shinji Mikami, who seems to do everything. He does everything for Capcom, apparently. Hey, that's actually not that bad. That's really good. Look at Francisca. She's so cool. And then there's cute, obviously. And then those three. Diego just looks cool. So good. Yeah, these are landscapes. Yeah, true. I think he just means portraits as in like people portraits rather than clear all PAW trilogy, clear AA to trilogy or Trials and Tribulations. Woo! And that is the Phoenix Wright Trilogy. We have finished this game. Woo! Yay! Good job, everyone. Everyone did a great job. And that is the end of that. My opinion on the Ace Attorney trilogy, it is great. I know I had like misgivings here and there about some of the things and some of the story. But this is a great trilogy. Again, I really enjoy the Phoenix Wright series. I still think that the first one is really good, probably mostly because of the main like cornered theme or pursuit theme, one of those. I just really like the songs in the first game. Second game is also good. And the third game is good to a point, but there are points where I'm like, okay, this is going a bit too far, or I don't like what they did to this character or did with this character. But overall, they're still enjoyable. They just have, some things that may be wrong with them here and there. But if I had to recommend this game, I'd definitely say give it a try. It is a lot of fun. Even I wasn't expecting myself to enjoy doing the voices. I don't know if it's just a British thing, but like doing voices, I always feel kind of foolish doing them. But after doing it some time, I'm just like, no, this is fun. Like I actually enjoyed it to an extent doing these voices. Yes, sometimes it would put a strain on my throat, but it was still fun. I could try and give everyone their own personality and everything, so it was cool. Out of the 3 games, my favorite characters are obviously, Phoenix, just because Phoenix. Francisca. Oh god, I've forgotten her name. The blonde-haired woman from the second game, who's also in the third game. Pretty much every character is great. It's just that some of these characters, I'm like, oh man, I like this one. I know a lot of people don't like Godot, but I really do, just because he's just so cool. Adrian Andrews, that was it, yeah. And yeah, there's just twists in this that I really like. And yeah, this whole game is just great. I definitely recommend you all try it out if you get to play it yourself. Just be aware that you sometimes have to think outside the box, because sometimes it doesn't make sense. Like, it's like, oh, I should present this here. No, you need to present it here. But it doesn't make sense to present it there. Well, that's when you need to do it. So, there are some cases like that, it gets a bit annoying. Again, I know I played these 3 games a few times. The first one I played like a bunch. Second game I played almost as much. And the third game I played not as much, which is why I remembered less of it. And I think I probably enjoyed it more because of that, because I remembered less. But yeah, it's great. But with that, we are now finished with the trilogy. And we are now ready for when the next HD collection comes out. I think the next one is going to be doing with, obviously, Apollo Justice. And then after that, I think is another one. And then it's the Dual Destinies, I think. Unless it's Apollo Justice, Dual Destinies, and then another game. Because I know there is another game after Dual Destinies, but Dual Destinies is the last one I have actually played. And it's the one I remember the least, because that released, like a few years ago? Like 6 years ago, maybe? And that was when they started really amping up the quality, as in, like, they started actually having, like, animated cutscenes and voice acting and stuff like that. It was cool. Apollo Justice, Dual Destinies, and Spirit of Justice. Okay, so I was close. So yeah, when those 3 come out, I will definitely see if I can get those at some point, because I would definitely want to play those. Because I don't, again, these 3 or those 3, I know little about. Apollo Justice, I played twice, and I don't remember anything other than you play as a different attorney, and some stuff about Phoenix. I won't spoil it here for people who haven't played it, but you know that was going to be a journey. I also like the guitar theme that's in that, but you know, I only remember that the last case in the Apollo Justice I really despised, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Dual Destinies I played once. I recall playing it once. I may have played it twice, but I remember the main thing I remember is Athena and that there's an AI in it. There's something about faces, but that's about it. It was cool. I liked it. And Spirit of Justice, I have not played at all, so I don't know anything about that other than maybe it's set in like some spirit village or something. That's it. So I'm looking forward to playing those. I hope you all will too when I start it. But for now, I have to try and find something to replace this that will be either just as good or something else. But yeah. Don't come in with the mindset of the original trilogy when you get to these games. The production quality is great, but the stories and cases, okay. I just remember that I liked Dual Destinies more than I did Apollo Justice, as far as I remember. But we'll get, like I said, we'll get to it when we get to those. But other than that, thank you for joining me in for this series. I hope everyone enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope everyone was fine with my voice acting, whether it was bad or good. Just enjoyed it regardless. And thank you for sticking around. I think this is probably the most active I've had a chat been in any of my streams, and I greatly appreciate that. So definitely, Sean, Rafatron, Swordmaster, definitely thank you for coming in. Thank you for keeping the chat all active and, you know, interacting. And I think it made this a lot more fun. So I definitely hope to see you all in another stream. And yeah, definitely thank you again for joining in. As usual, if you haven't already, like, follow, subscribe, do that bell notification so you know when our next stream. And if you want to help support me directly, there's links to Patreon and tips there. If you join as a patron, you get your name added to the patron list, where I thank you for the continued support, and I give you a shout out like I do with Hiroru Akuni. And I greatly appreciate it, especially with how things are going lately. But until next time, once again, thank you for joining me, and I will see you all next time. We'll be back next week, Tuesday with Baldur's Gate 3, and then I'll find something to replace this for Wednesday and Fridays. So, highlight was presenting your badge to Regina. Yeah, I will probably always remember that now, just like the random times I just kept showing my badge by accident. But yeah, thank you all for joining me. Hope you all will tune in the future. And until next time, y'all take care of yourselves. Have a nice weekend. And I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Night.